Welcome back to the Football Terrace. This is the Bet Victor Top 6 Show Transfer Deadline Day Special. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's loan move to Barcelona appears to have collapsed in recent hours. Jesse Lingard to Newcastle seemed a certainty, with Ralph Rangnick guaranteeing him a move away. Progressions and talks continuing all afternoon. Newcastle dropping their pursuits of young Hugo and Dean Henderson to focus on Jesse Lingard. But in the last few moments, we all thought this could happen with the Glazers. They have pulled the plug on the deal. Newcastle left without Jesse Lingard. David Ornstein reporting that Lingard is going to stay. Arsenal Football Club themselves have made no new signings this window. Many of their fans still believe they will. Has it been a failure for some of the teams in the top six, including Manchester United and Arsenal? Chelsea barely strengthened at all, but most teams have let a lot of people go and have weakened themselves. We're going to be debating all of that and much, much more on the Football Terrace. Make sure you smash that like button. You subscribe to the Football Terrace. Here we go. How is everyone? Normally in blue, but we're transfer yellow today, of course, with our friends over at Bet Victor. How are we all? How's everyone feeling tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man.
Calm.
I'm all right.
Calm.
Look at him. Look at how he's sitting there. Do you know what I mean? Look at happy. Signing. I don't know who you signed. I've never heard of him before. I mean, especially I bet you are.
I'm just happy for bodies in, and especially if they're guys that Conte wants and he's given them the green check, the green tick. I'm happy with that, man. I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people here straight away, and they need to go to this, saying, Terry, ask Egal about Fabrizio Romano. What's going on with Fabrizio Romano today, Egal?
He turned into the biggest Arsenal troll of all time, honestly.
Why? What did he do?
First, we all know what Arsenal need. We need to go for a striker. We need to get a signing in. So first, he is quoting a football agent of Espanyol, trolling us, saying, "Oh, Arsenal tried to go in for their striker, and that they need to pay 75 million in order to get him." So, 29-year-old striker, never heard of. Also, Ousmane Dembele rejects Arsenal, and he's the one that spoke about that also. And then now he just constantly trolling us. Is he? At least it feels like it.
How is it trolling if he's relaying information that is being told? It's just facts.
It. He's doing what he does with every other team. He does it with Tottenham. He does it with Man United. He's done it with Newcastle, Liverpool. But because obviously it's not what you guys were telling us all window long, it's now trolling. So yeah, Gal, I want to.
What the hell?
What? So yeah, Gal, what's happened though? What's gone wrong?
No, man, I'm just gonna.
No, you can't be all like, I'm just not gonna speak now. Not now. After you was up in here saying Spurs guaranteed you ain't signing no one. Ain't saying no one, man. Like that was you. You're saying you're gonna bring in you're gonna bring in players. You're gonna reinforce, and if you do not top four. But now it's hush.
So Liverpool, and friggin' Liverpool fans and Tottenham fans to thank me because their business got done because I talk shit. Yeah.
The Egal jinx. The Egal.
All right, so now you're taking credit for the Egal tax.
The Egal tax, you know. I mean, Egal tax is real, bro. I need you to tell me I'm never winning the lottery. I need you to tell me that I'm going to be a failure in life. Like, honestly, it's crazy. Every time you come out with something, things improve. Do you know what I mean? Things improve. Please tell me please say the Glazers are terrible owners, Egal. Do you know what I mean? They run clubs badly. We need this. But look, Gunnar King, you're still confident, aren't you, that you're going to sign somebody today? But I need to ask you, who? I don't know who's that left there, bruv. Who are you signing?
Is he on mute?
I mean, the two options that we're looking at, I think, are the Rodrigo, Spanish striker, and Isak. And I don't know. We need a midfielder. We need a midfielder and a striker. If we don't get one, I don't know what I'm going to do. Honestly, yeah, like, I don't know how this is going to play out. You know, like it's just going to be like, you know.
Let me just say very quickly on
no sudden vibes. Yeah, that's literally what it is because we got rid of 5 players as well. So
let me just say very quickly. Isak trained with he was in London. He was here. That car wasn't his, by the way. That guy was trolling everyone with that car. He was seen everywhere in that car, bro. The guy legit is a Spurs fan. You know it. But Isak's left the country. I think he's now in Dubai and he's trained with his team. Like Isak is not happening. It's for me. I will donate £500 to a charity of someone's choice if you sign Isak tonight. It's just not happening.
Harry, Fabrizio, 1 second. Fabrizio Romano was on a show earlier today, and he was talking about the Isak story, and he's saying that it's very unlikely for it to happen. So at this point,
it was always unlikely, but you guys were very confident. Like I listened to Gunner King. I heard you on the other show. You're like, I'm the only calm Arsenal fan right now. Something's happening. Egal this morning, I think it was this morning I was watching, and I heard we're guaranteed to sign somebody. You kind of do it to yourselves, guys. Like it's not no one's coming in. You're just trimming the fat. Same like us. You're just trimming the fat, and nobody's coming in. And I think that's all right. I think you just got to accept that. You're gonna hope to hold on for top 4, but let's be serious. Top 6 is that's good for Arsenal this year. Like that's actually a good thing. So I think that's what your team's looking at. I think Kroenke's looking at it. Back in European football, we did what we had to do. I think that's where you guys are at, if I'm being honest.
we're gonna have to wait and see, man. Honestly, I'll tell you this right now. I still do think there's hope that we can get top 4, but there's a lot of
Egal. I know I got in trouble for doing this last week, but I can't help myself. Can you stop lying on camera?
No, I'm not lying. I'm dead serious.
Hold it. Tell us how you really feel. Like this whole, I still got hope, Tito. Where's this hope coming from? Where's this hope?
You didn't even let me finish my point. Like, God's sakes. My point was there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs and buts that have to happen. Like we need to stay if our players stay fit, if our players keep form, if we what do you call it? The fact that we don't have the fact that we're not in Europe, that's the only certainty. And the other thing is the fact that we have what do you call it? A couple games in hand, but we have to win those games. So there's a lot of ifs. But those ifs don't happen. It's looking very unlikely. I said at the beginning of the window, if we don't get a striker, and if we get a striker and a midfielder, that helps us solidify top 4. At this point, top 4 is on the brink. And coming back into the season, if we lose games or we get any major injuries, that's it. It's done. But at this point in time, I'm not going to say it's done. It's not done until we come back and play and we see things happen the way they happen. But yeah, we're going to get into it. I'm very down right now, as you guys can tell, so I might not be as upbeat as I usually am.
KJ, you're muted.
But what are you guys gonna do with Aubameyang, bruv? Because man went to Barcelona, was on holiday, you know what I mean? Was up in there shopping, waiting for the call to come that, yep, you can go to the stadium, sign the contract, sign the thing, hold up the shirt, and man came back. What are you gonna do with him?
I don't know if he's even going to play another game for us.
No, I don't. If we don't sign anyone, then there's no choice. You have to bring him back to the fold, man. There's nothing else you can do. Like there's no other strikers. You know, Nketiah's not firing.
You got Lacazette as well. Don't forget him. So, but you know what's mad though?
Yeah.
In the whole of January, Steven Bergwijn scored more club goals than Arsenal did. Bergwijn got 2 late goals against Leicester. You guys scored 1 goal the whole of January, and that was in a loss to Man City. This is the loss that you lot celebrated. Oh, we turned the corner, even though we lost at home. We look great, blah, blah, blah. And then the rest of the month, you didn't score 1 single goal. No shots on target against Notts.
Have your moment, eat it all up. Because once the window's over, you're gonna come back to reality and realize your team's still not good enough. Also, so
we're not great, but we're better than Arsenal. I'll give you that for free. I'll tell you that for free as well. So yeah, like I will have my moment. You're the same guy that was telling Tottenham fans to come outside. And
do you know what I'm predicting? Do you know what I'm predicting is going to happen with Arsenal and Aubameyang? We're going to see the same thing that happened with Carlos Tevez all those years ago at Man City, where he refused to come on and then he was talking about leaving the club and everything else. And then City's season started getting a little bit precarious and they needed a goal scorer to come and save them. And they started playing Tevez again. I think you guys are going to get to about mid-March, need a goal scorer. And then suddenly everybody's tunes towards Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is going to start to change. Oh, maybe we got him wrong. The reconciliation's going to, when they on a soap opera where you have the bad guy that everyone hates, and then they start throwing in all these storylines. He stops a little girl from being hit by a car, and then he stops the Queen Vic from being robbed, right? And then suddenly he becomes a hero again, and he's liked. You guys are going to set up these little stories and these little comments over the next few weeks to make everybody accept Aubameyang again, so you can all cheer when he starts scoring. Predicting it now, and I've seen it with so many fan bases before. I'm not saying you want it, but he's going to start playing games. He's going to have to, because look, Lacazette's played well at times, but he's got 4 goals in all season. Like, or not even that, maybe in the league. Like, it's crazy. Like, Aubameyang's got to come back in. And he will come back in now if you don't pull something out the bag. And I don't know what you're pulling out the bag.
I don't think journalists know anything, Terry. They don't know anything. They're liars. They don't know shit. Every single day, this whole window, they're driving us crazy. We don't know nothing. Why are you lying to us? Why?
I feel like he's speaking directly to Fabrizio Romano.
You keep mentioning Arsenal's name in players we're not even linked to. They did this a couple years ago. They linked us last summer to Rado Baku. Rado Baku was linked to us through fan opinion pieces linked us to Rado Baku. Rado Baku started being linked to us. Now, this is again another situation. I am done with listening to anybody.
Egal,
honestly, I might as well listen to the Sun. Every single day, I might as well listen to the Sun because they're just as reliable. That's what it is.
Egal, you've got yourself to blame, because I remember one summer you read an article and said, "That's it, guys. Look, Jack Grealish is coming to Arsenal." It was an opinion piece from some random Donny, bro.
Yeah, it was. You know what's crazy though? Well, I'm going to say journalists do know things, but you know what? I think some Arsenal fans did this window. Is you did up and look, we share the news. It's down to you to say whether you believe it or not. Arsenal just haven't got the deals over the line. It's like with Tottenham. Tottenham were very close to Adama Traore, and they were very close to Luis Diaz. They were, and then the world changed overnight. These things happen. Man United, we looked at Julian Alvarez, we looked at Dennis Akakaria. I'm convinced, but the players chose someone different, and then it works both ways with journalists. Sometimes you see a journalist play things down. We saw a big famous example of this in the summer. There is no way, it is an impossibility that Inter Milan sell Lukaku. That isn't Fabrizio's fault that Inter Milan changed their minds.
But you know what is his fault, Terry? When you say Arsenal are 100% going to sign a midfielder this window.
No, it's not him. It's because people attack the journalists for the club not delivering on what they told him. I guarantee you, Arsenal told him this. Arsenal were going around, and one of the things I was sent by someone who works at the football club, and I shared it with journalists, and they were like, we're all hearing the same thing, is Arsenal was supremely confident internally that you were getting Vlahovic. You believed internally you were getting him. So when you tell that to a journalist, why is he not going to share it? So I tell you why journalists don't like sharing these things after time now, because fans take it out on them rather than that. These journalists out here, I'm not talking about some desk journalists at the Metro. I'm talking about these verified, highly renowned journalists. They ain't making these stories up out of nothing. Your football club is briefing them, bruv.
They're liars too. What do you want me to do? They're liars also.
No. They're not also. They are the liars. They are.
You know what?
You gotta think about...
I honestly believe there's no contacts at Arsenal Football Club, because how does Callum Chambers go without any rumors? How do we get some of these deals done with no rumors? I honestly do believe Arsenal have cut ties.
Do you know that's cap? Do you want to know why that deals like that go through without anybody knowing? Because nobody's asking about that player. You know, what fan was going, what find me, and again, if you find me more than 20 that have got over 1,000 followers, I'll give a £500 a charity. Find me the prominent Arsenal fans who this month were asking questions of Arsenal. Oh, what's going to happen with Chambers?
I'll tell you, David Ornstein, the day before the story broke about Callum Chambers, was asked live on one of his streams, what is happening with Callum Chambers? He said, I don't know anything about Callum Chambers currently. 24 hours later, he moves. So even
but that means at that time he didn't know. If he went on asked and they told him, oh yeah, it was moving, he would have said, bro, like
also as well, Aston Villa were renowned for keeping things hush hush. I read something about Danny Ings, and he couldn't even tell his dad that he was moving until it happened, because that's how they want to do their business.
Yeah, so I think it's one of the look, and things literally. like change overnight and they change in all directions. Like I was saying to the guys, I was talking to a few journalists earlier on today, and one said to me, like, Lingard to Newcastle almost looks a certainty now. So I said, I'm going to share it. He went, cool. And I tweeted it. And literally I pressed send and then my gut went. And I'm like, I guarantee the Glazers messed this up. So I tweeted that as part of the thread. 15 minutes later, Ornstein's like, yeah, the deal's off. The Glazers have pulled the plug. Things change. Dean Jones is a very famous example. Your football club told him categorically that you were not going for Pepe. He was too expensive. And then you guys changed your mind and decided to spend the money. It's not the journalist's fault. It's the club. But we as fans, we take it. We don't like taking it out on our own club. We don't like saying, Arsenal fouled in signing a player or whatever. We just like to blame, the journalist made the story up. It's weird. Like, yeah, the journalist made the story up, but yet your club lets him turn up to all the press conferences every week when he's spreading lies about you. Think about it. No, journalists lies about a club once. They get banned from press conferences, everything. Fergie did it to a couple when they printed stories that weren't true. Exactly. As soon as they're being briefed, bruv. I would say that. In terms of, I want to speak a little bit about Man United as well. We are going to look at some of the odds coming up very, very soon. We're going to keep you up to date with the breaking news in the transfer window. Nothing new has really happened in the last 20 minutes or so. But Cam, Man United, do you feel there's a failing there as well?
No, I mean, okay, so this is my opinion. Only a failing if you expected signings. I didn't. And when I listened to, basically, when you listen to everything like Ralph said out loud, like he said this out loud, he's like, I think the squad's too big. It's hard to keep everybody happy. We need to get guys out. Okay. So instantly we start seeing that happen. We start seeing, Donnie's gone. You see rumors about Phil Jones going. He's not going to go, unfortunately. But Jesse Lingard, if you see Martial go, right? Martial, he was honest. Ralph came out and said Martial wants to leave. So all these things we saw happening, he said out loud, are happening now in front of us. And now people are just like, well, we can't just let people go and not bring anybody in. But Ralph literally said he thinks the squad's too big. So what makes you think he was going to send people out and replace them one for one? Also, this is kind of like the other piece where KJ and I had a conversation about the Custis, what's his name? Neil Custis report.
Neil Custis, yeah.
So that report comes out. We're all good vibes. United's feeling good. You go and do an international break. There's no news. Everybody knows that news would rattle cages. And this is where my stance is, if we're sticking to the plot of new manager coming in, why would we be buying players unless, like you said, Terry, we've somehow changed our direction and the ethos for Man United is buy players that fit the mold, and you're going to buy players that fit the United way. We know that's not, if that happens, it's not happening this year. Let's be honest. The Glazers are still there. They're going to do exactly what they always do. They're going to bring in a manager, in my opinion, give him a bunch of money to spend on a player he wants or the player they really want, Declan Rice maybe, and then be like, cool, let's see if you make top four, not give that guy any more signings, and we're going to go through the same cycle. So that's why when I look at this and I'm like, were we going to sign anybody? I would have loved to see Kamara come in, of course. I didn't think we were going to sign an attacker. I'd have been really upset if we signed Dembele. So I'm pretty calm about it. I don't think it's a failure. It is a failure, obviously, if like Paul Pogba doesn't come back anytime soon or we continue to see the same issues with the defensive midfield, but we're always going to. So at this point, it's just like, I'm chill about it because I never expected it. It's just like, it is what it is. Like, we knew players needed to get sold. We knew there was going to be a mini rebuild happening under our eyes, and this is what's happening.
Now, I agree with you can be chill, and I agree with you that you don't have to expect anything, because I didn't expect us to make any signings. But to say that we haven't failed just as one, and that's part of the reason, I don't think that's enough. Like, we still needed those things. Yes, the trimming down the fat of the squad was really important, and we've done that. But look at the areas that was mainly in. It was mainly in the attacking areas. So if you look at the midfield, we still needed reinforcements in there. We still need someone to come in and help with the defensive midfield work. Like, now we're going into the rest of the season with what? Matic, McTominay, Fred, and Pogba as our DM double pivot options. You easily could have literally put a defensive midfielder in there and it gives you more variety of what to do, and you can phase someone out. Matic, he's getting old. You don't have to keep him playing games week in, week out. You can start to phase him out from now. So for me, I feel like we have failed. We've done really well on getting players out, whether they are your players that you would ship out. That's for the debate. But in terms of overall transfer window, I would say we haven't done enough. And top four is a lot closer than it needs to be now because you've got Spurs reinforcing. And as much as West Ham and Arsenal haven't really done much, they're still going to be a threat for the rest of the season. And you got teams like Wolves just creeping in the background. So it's going to be a bigger fight than it needs to be.
But do we ever really do anything in January? Like, it's not for me.
No,
again,
I'm not saying it's a common thing that we do.
I get what you're saying, though. I hear what you're saying. I do hear you.
I look at it from this point of view. I do get that. And we know we needed to trim the squad down. And of course, the Mason Greenwood thing, if we just ring fence the hideous, disgusting incident and just talk about it as a player now not being in the squad as an example, it's come at the worst time window wise because there's a day and a half left to go as an example. So if it had happened at the beginning of January, do I think maybe the club would have had time to work on something and put something together? Probably. But we've left ourselves that vulnerable, and then you reflect and think, well, clearly why the Lingard deals they've now pulled it back is because we're not signing anybody. I get a feeling we've made some inquiries over the past 24 to 48 hours to see who we could get in, and no one that fits the mold can. Therefore, we pulled the plug on the Lingard deal because we can't go into this second half of the season in 3 competitions with 4 senior outfield attackers. We just can't do that. It's calamitous by any stretch of the imagination. And yes, there's Elanga and Hannibal can come in and Pogba can plug in on the wings at times. But we've been moaning about square pegs in round holes and putting pressure on these young kids for such a long time. And that's where we've gone a little bit wrong. It would have been even worse if Lingard was allowed to leave. So listen, I'm happy that the Glazers have pulled the deal. I'm just frustrated again, though, that we've allowed Newcastle and West Ham and Lingard to think the deal could happen up until maybe an hour ago, which is, again, just poor running of the club because Lingard's probably sitting there thinking, but this morning, you had a meeting with me to ask me what I really wanted. I said I wanted to go, and you said yes. And now you're telling me I can't. That's the bit that's frustrating. Like, literally, Ragnick's told me.
But that's why.
Go on.
I was gonna say for Manchester United, I'm not a Manchester United fan, but when it comes down to it, you guys were put into this situation because of certain things that is out of your hand. One, the whole Martial situation, he wanted to leave, so you guys let go of him. Donny van de Beek, you didn't give him enough game time in the first place, so it's like him leaving is not gonna be that big of a miss. And then obviously now with the whole situation with Greenwood and everything else, it's out of your hand. So of course these issues have arisen last minute. I don't think the club obviously was prepared for any of these things coming to light.
And that's true, but at the same time, we still, and I get Cam's point of view that not a lot gets done in January, but we did sign Bruno in January. We did sign, like, Henrik Mkhitaryan was short term, but he was brilliant. He came in January. We signed
club legend
Larson.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We signed Vidic and we signed Evra in January, and they made an impact. Liverpool have just gone and signed a summer target in January because somebody else was looking at him. I look at our team and think, you went and got a Kamara, and it turns out we've turned Kamara down, according to Fabrizio, and it's a case of, why have we done that? We really could have improved.
Can I address that though? Because I think with the Kamara thing, like, am I there? Did I?
We can hear you. You just can't see you. You're frozen.
Okay. Weird. I'll turn my camera off. The Kamara thing that's thrown me off here is that I read reports well before we were in for him that Kamara wanted to wait until the summer to choose his own path because he's a free agent. And then all of a sudden I started hearing, Man United's in there. So was it which one is it? Is it that he really wanted to wait and choose his own path, or was it we were offered him for 10 million because the club wants to get rid of him? It's the same situation as you always say, Terry. Like, maybe the player turned us down and was like, actually, like, I can just go there in the summer if I really want to go. If they really want me, I don't have to help my club get 10 million. Like, that could have happened because it seems like he's asking for a bit of just from what I've read. I'm just going on what I've read, that he's asked for like 150K a week. Realistically, are we going to give him 150K a week if our the top guy that we want to go after, who we all can probably guess who that is now, is going to take up another 150K of our salary budget? So I just look at it that way, where it's like, I hear we rejected the signing, and then I read that the player wanted to make his own decision. So which one is it, right? That's where journalists do lie, I think, or agents lie. Somebody's lying.
Yeah.
I just feel like
I wanted that signing, by the way. That was the one that I actually wanted.
Yeah.
Or never.
I just feel like why is Ragnick here? Like, just why is he here? Because clearly he's stated multiple times to the board, whether it's he leaked it to the press or not, that's a different thing. But he's stated multiple times, Man United need a midfielder. We want us to get a midfielder. We need to get a midfielder in now, not just in the summer. We need one now because what I'm working with is not enough. But yet we've vetoed so many, like already 2 decisions, key decisions in the squad building process. We vetoed the midfielder and we vetoed him allowing Jesse Lingard to go. Jesse Lingard staying it may not be a good thing. Yes, it's a number, but if he's still going to be toxic and miserable and affect the dressing room in a negative way, we've just shot ourselves in the foot again. We've already got obviously a massive situation going on. Now bringing an unhappy player into this ain't helping. He needs reinforcements to play whatever football he needs to play to get us over the line to top 4. We're not allowing him to do that already. So why is he here? What is he here to do? Because if you're supposed to be just an interim, why add the consultancy thing on top? It just doesn't make any sense, and it's really worrying about the future of the club. Because what happens if he says, "I want Ten Hag"? Ten Hag's the guy, and they're like, "No, we want Poch," and he's like, "Okay, cool, we get Poch." Oh, okay, Poch needs these players. Oh no, we think these players are better. But what? It's just a cycle.
It absolutely is. We've got some breaking news here. We will come back to the conversation because I want to go into looking and take a look at Bet Victor on the odds for making top 4. But Sky Sports have just put out a report that Chelsea have made another inquiry for Barcelona forward Ousmane Dembele, which again is very interesting because only an hour or so ago I was chatting to someone that we all know quite well. We must have remained, most people sitting here on a panel know I'm talking about at Chelsea, and it was like, no, actually, like there's little to no chance anything's going to happen at all. Sky are now reporting that Ousmane Dembele could still be going to Chelsea. I don't personally see it happening, but that is a report. And take a look at the odds here. This is the current odds with Bet Victor for Ousmane Dembele to Chelsea. He's even still to go to Chelsea. He's evens odds on here. So evens means you bet £1, you win £1 plus your stake back, as an example. We didn't have any links for that in the description below because we weren't expecting that to be a deal that was being discussed, but we'll add it in now. If any Chelsea fan fancies this, if any neutral fancies this and think, actually, I think we might pull something out the bag, we'll get that put into the comments in the description below in a few moments' time. But do any of you see Ousmane Dembele to Chelsea happening tonight?
He'll fit right in. He'll just get injured and be out for a month.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's a very Chelsea type move. It depends on what the deal is. Is it permanent or is it a loan until the end of the summer with an option to buy? So, like, I
can't listen to the news report. I'm not too sure.
I would say if it's a loan with the option to buy, it's a very Chelsea move, and why not? Hakim Ziyech has been okay. They don't really play Werner anymore. Why not?
Nobody wants Ousmane Dembele, man.
I mean, that's the thing. Nobody wants him, but if you're Chelsea, you don't care about the wages, right? Ziyech hasn't worked out exactly how you want him to. Werner's basically dead out there. If you're Chelsea's trying to not fall into a top 4 race realistically, which they kind of already have, why would you not get him on loan with an option to buy if it works out? For Chelsea, that's chump change. That's no issue for them. It's just like they did the same thing with Saul though. Come on. I've been watching Cho. He's been okay at best. He has not been a first team locked on guy. So why not?
I personally think there's no Chelsea fan here, but I personally think Chelsea have Ziyech. They have Timo Werner, they have Lukaku, they have Hudson-Odoi, they have Pulisic. They have so many guys in that area. If you can't figure it out with them, Ousmane Dembele adding to the mix doesn't really help you. I don't think he's.
But Chelsea's ran well. They ran well. Like Pulisic is done. I'm sorry, he's done in Chelsea in my opinion. So if you're thinking about Werner or Pulisic potentially being gone in the summer, you bring in Dembele now.
Yeah. A few people in the comments saying, Terry, your face looks very shiny, you hot. No, it's called cream, bruv. Man went for a run. Man creams his skin. When you cream your skin, it shines, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, for all you people, I'm not going to name names or anyone specifically, but for all you people that don't moisturize your skin, when you look like aged milk by the age of 30, that is why, bro.
The whole body gets moisturized. What I'm saying, from top to bottom, bro. Different types of moisturize for different parts of the body. Like Manscaped do a great range of ball deodorant. It's very good. It's very, very refreshing down by the old, by the kiwis in the dolphin's beak. Yes, mate. What was that?
To be fair, your forehead looks like a projector right now, so that's why they're saying.
Hey, I mean,
Oi.
you know, it's funny though. Do you know, it's
Right.
really funny because on Wednesday I get my hair transplant, so I'm gonna have a hairline again. Egal, you stuck with that boat race, bruv? Do you know what I mean?
God's plan. Drake said it. God's plan.
This
Amen.
is true. This is true. Come on, bruv. You got to take the banter back. But
No,
yeah,
I was thinking the best.
oh good. I thought you were offended. Oh, sorry. Cool.
No.
Man's here laughing at ball deodorant. Listen, bruv, trust me when it comes to that product, you know what I mean? Keeps you fresh, and it's important in life to be nice and fresh, you know what I mean? Especially in them there never regions. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, look, I think Ousmane Dembele is just a bad signing, and that isn't footballing wise, he's better than every single attacker at Chelsea. Better, like technically better than everybody they've got, but he's broken. His body is made of biscuits. You know what I mean? You know, Fox's biscuits. He's going to break apart, bruv. And not even like a hobnob that like you can dip in your tea 3 or 4 times and it's still whole. I'm talking rich tea. You know them rich tea biscuits. Your nan pulls out a rich tea. You look at your nan like, what are you doing? What the fuck? It's not a biscuit. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, honestly, Chelsea fans, stay away.
The tea, it falls apart, man.
Absolutely. But if you fancy a little flutter, the link is now in our description below and pinned to our live comment section. Give it a refresh if it isn't there. Just refresh the stream and you'll see it. It's pretty much just Chelsea. All the other odds, as you can see, PSG 8-1. Anyone fancy a cheeky Man United at 12-1?
Nah, you don't want to get him in.
No,
That would make no sense. That would make no sense.
Yeah, it would make no sense. Exactly.
The only way it makes sense is if you then see Lingard go, and then you're like, still would be, but I would be annoyed.
Although if Dembele leaves, that means Aubameyang is going to Barcelona, and that means Arsenal could still sign a striker. So I'm doing mathematics right now. But
Sign a striker?
And you know what? If every single other human being on planet Earth dies, but me and Beyonce, maybe she'll kiss me.
What time does the window close over there? Like, is it
11? So that's
so
4 hours.
4 hours.
4.5 hours. 4.5 hours, and we be counting. Back to our point though, we were talking about earlier. We're gonna go to super chats in just a moment. I know people have been I'll do super chats first because people have been putting them in. I don't want to ignore them because I want to get top 4 predictions, people, and we're gonna actually put the top 4 prediction odds back into the live comment section and pin it. So get your Bet Vict apps ready, get them out, get them ready to go. We're gonna be taking a quick little butchers. Them in a few moments' time, who we think is going to make the top 4, because I think we all said in the build up to this, January is going to be key. January's now done. But let's have a look at some of these super chats. Jerome here says Arsenal are a joke club. We bring in Aubameyang and Xhaka, is what Jerome's got to say. Nabil says, highlight of the day, Man United owners won't listen to their manager. Congrats on sucking the PR. You can pee on Man United and they will keep them. I kind of hear where you're coming from there, Nabil. Heard Ty was in the boot of that car. Oh, it's that car. Jesus Christ. If wishes were horses. What does that mean?
Be a millionaire.
What does that mean?
If wishes
Is
were
that
horses?
saying?
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that either.
I want that to make sense. Laddie, let us know what that means. Strip Bear here says Arsenal lose 1 with CV. Chelsea lose 4 with Ouch's the best defense in the league, and we play babes. Thank you, Strip. I don't know what that means either. Sometimes I read them and I'm like, is that my dyslexia or is it just how it's written? Aubameyang is still leaving. Check Fabrizio's Twitter. Is he?
Hold on. I'm going to check now because
Let's just check Fabrizio's Twitter here. See what Fabs is saying.
Hold up.
You mean troll account?
Fabrizio.
Let's see what he's saying. Let's see what Fabrizio Romano's got to say.
He hasn't said anything recently.
Nothing. The pin tweet is still about Delhi.
We're going to get onto that later, Delhi.
Yeah. Lingard. A bit of nothing I can see about Aubameyang. The Celso's in there. Bergwin's in there. A lot of Tottenham boys, but nothing about Aubameyang right now.
The comment section's late. That's what it is, Terry.
That's cool. Gunnar King and Egal are the perfect example of how strong the Arsenal PR influence is. If you get a last-minute panic buy, you will both say great window.
Hell no. Are you on drugs?
Wait. Egal, will you say it's
Well,
part of
no,
the plan?
I would say, look, I would say that trimming the dead wood did need to happen though. So that part was done. If we can get a striker or a midfielder, then it's not all been that bad, and there's still time. But yeah, it doesn't look likely. It's not all bad in the sense that we did get some players off the bill that probably shouldn't have been there, shouldn't have been there for a while. So yeah, is what it is.
There we go. Arsenal are rejects FC says Arsenal. By the way, I'm seeing this right because the only person I saw Kendall Insta post this. She wrote like ASSANNA like Arsenal. Where's this Arsenal thing come from?
That's how they pronounce it in Africa.
Yeah, it's basically
there's a whole song as well. We don't know Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've seen I saw Kendall put it out, and I've seen people. I keep seeing people refer to Arsenal as Arsenal, and I was right, okay. It says here, from chasing Vlahovic to getting rejected from Espanyol forward no one has ever heard about. All the fan base are private investigators. # banter club forever. I'm fuming with Chelsea. No wing backs, no signings. Chelsea any bet is what Strip Bear's got to say there. This Cam guy is a Glazer simp.
Okay, I'm gonna address that. I have never once supported the Glazer. I just
Terry you and Alfie, bro.
No, man. Terry the thing is, Terry does enough complaining about the Glazers for all of us, and I agree with him. It's just what's the point of me echoing it and coming on here and being like, listen, I have in my world with owners, I have always been very the same. I'm like, what's the point? They're gonna be here. It sucks. We know who's in charge. And I completely get what Terry and KJ do, but I just speak on the other side of it. I just don't care. I just know they're trash. I'm fully aware.
I hear that. This is Aidan Andrews. Egal, can you read that out for us, please?
What? No.
Can you read the comment, please? It's for you guys. Please read it out.
Gunnar King, do you want to take it?
You're all good, mate. I'm legally blind for the rest of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
This is an interesting comment, and I don't understand it, but it says, Egal, Salah took his shirt off when he scored. Is that okay?
It's different when you're in AFCON, I guess.
What's that got to do?
Say Egal, yeah.
Because remember I said Mo Salah took his shirt off against Crystal Palace, but he took it off in the semi-final for AFCON against Morocco.
Do you remember when Saka took his shirt off and he didn't even score in the Euros?
He took it off because he was taking the undershirt.
I know.
That was probably the funniest moment because.
You know what though? Like I was disappointed when it turned out that it was for like a wardrobe issue. I just thought that could be like a new way to celebrate. One player scores, and everyone takes their shirts off. Like that'd be cool.
You know what the caption was? Arsenal made this guy lose his head. He's taking his shirt off when Sterling scores.
It's crazy to me.
Wait.
Someone here has just said something. What's the matter?
News. There's big news.
From who?
David Ornstein.
Is this to do with Dele Alli?
Yes.
So David, this is breaking news. Someone just tweeted me this, and I wanted to make sure I was on the same thing. David Ornstein has just reported now that Newcastle made a dramatic late attempt to pick get Dele Alli after losing out on Lingard. Newcastle have inquired to take Alli on loan, just as permanent Everton move enters final stages. Unclear if it will succeed. So Newcastle have made an attempt for Dele Alli as we speak. The Dele Alli bid has gone in. Now, what's interesting about that? I'm not too sure if they're still open. They've been taken down now. So the market on Dele Alli, we were going to talk about it on the show, but because it would look like it was gone through, that market got suspended. So I am going to send a quick email to Bet Victor, see if they're going to open that market again. But Newcastle were trying, they are trying.
Patrick, what are you saying? If you're Dele Alli, where did you go? Newcastle or Everton?
Everton
You
right
can-
now. You get to play under Lampard. If you think about the kind of player that Dele Alli is and how he molded his game, like that late running into the box, when he was successful, when he's getting 18, 20 goals a season, that's what he was good at. So for me, if I'm Dele, I'm going where the manager that fits me and wants me to play. It'd be Everton.
Yeah, but that club is a mess, bro. Like that club is a mess. Like think about this. In the short term, you're fighting relegation with Newcastle, yes, and it's going to be a tight one. But if you make it through that, you're in a better club than Everton. Because if Everton stay up, that's cool. But you're going to be in a mess longer than I think.
But you've got to look on the flip side of it. What if you don't? What if you don't?
Relegation fee, relegation clause. You just make the move to somewhere else.
See, that's the thing.
Some more breaking news. Some more breaking news. Sorry, some more breaking news. I'm just waiting. Yes, it turns out that Newcastle's bid for Dele Alli is being funded by Donny van der Beek. He does not want Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek. He will pay the wages just so he can play. I tweeted about that earlier. And you know what? You know how you know no one likes to joke? People like Terry, they can both play 8, you know. I can't believe you think Donny's a 10. It's like, bruv, it's a joke.
Oh, honestly,
we'll find out though. We'll find out. Can we say this? Can we be honest here as United fans? If he goes there, Dele goes there, and then all of a sudden Gomez and Allen and them are playing in front of Donny van der Beek, can we just end it?
Oh,
can
you imagine?
If that guy gets benched again at another club, after we all told his ass to go Palace, I will have no sympathy for my brother, and I'll be like, it is peak, and then you can be shown the door because clearly your decision making is not good enough. People talk about it on the pitch, but off the pitch, it's important too, and clearly his would not be good enough. That is if he got benched, fam. Imagine getting benched again.
You know what the story is though? The real story is Newcastle are moving crazy. And it's worrying because if they're doing this, whether in a relegation battle, imagine when they get higher up the table, what they could be capable of doing. They're not coming to take part; they're coming to dominate. And forget about relegation; they're not getting relegated at this point. I think all these signings are going to transform their team.
But you know what's crazy? You say that. I think if they was higher up in the table, they're not as crazy as this. They're doing this because, bruv, they're desperate. They just need to stay up. Yeah. So they'll be like, put money to whoever is willing to fight and keep them up. If they're in a better position, they're taking their time with it. They're taking it a bit slower. They're taking the process, being all right, cool. How do we build this team? What's the best way to go about it?
Do you know what it comes down to, though, is they can't start. It's hard for them to start their future planning and the future, as it were, under the future until they secure their Premier League place. Because if they get relegated, it's 2 more seasons. They're gonna have to do a year in the Championship and then a year establish themselves in the Prem before the big boys start to look at them. So if they get relegated now, it's a minimum 2 years additional on top of their plan. So it's almost, let's throw enough mud at the wall to make some of it stick. Let's get enough players in where we can survive. And then from I guarantee you'll find in 18 months, maybe even half the players I've signed this January are also on their way out the door, like pretty quickly moved on again and going elsewhere. But there is actually some breaking news. Someone sent me a link. Fabrizio tweet. It wasn't his tweet. This came out at 6:10. This is from the Barca president. I don't know if they pronounce it Joan, but Joan Laporta, who says, we would like to incorporate Aubameyang. It is very complicated, but there is hope. There is hope. So that's what they've said about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. There is hope is what's been said.
Translation, if he takes a huge pay cut, we can register him and we'll bring him over. That's it at this stage.
Or if Arsenal subsidize most of his wages. Because I heard that was a stumbling.
There's just no way.
Arsenal fans, if he goes, this Laporta hope? Is this the hope that you have for the striker or the new signing? Is that the same hope?
Bro, I give up.
I think it would have to be, yeah.
Jesus. Who's the Arsenal target so late in the window, though? What strikers would you get in right now?
The 2 strikers that we're targeting have release clauses.
Forget about that, bro. We're gonna probably get Morata or something dumb like that. Or I heard Divock Origi or some dumb shit like that. Honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of it. I feel like there is hope. There's always hope. There's always a level of hope. But at this point, as the hours go by, as the time keeps ticking, I'm just seeing it more and more. I'm like, we're not going to sign nobody, man. It's ridiculous.
I hear Solomon Rondon is available.
Rondon.
Rondon.
Brother,
Ain't he at Everton? He's at Everton, right?
Arsenal need a midfielder. How about a little bit of Joe Linton? He's pretty good in midfield, you know.
Actually, no. Midfielder. Aye, this cheeky Dele Alli, bro. This is sniping
Dele
from Spurs.
Alli do bits at Arsenal. He was very good, very good in my opinion. If somebody could get Dele Alli back to doing what he does, like best, scoring goals, those late runs, he could be so potent. And if he does that at Everton, or if he ends up going Newcastle, he could be good. But the odds are out. The odds are still open, people. We've just pinned to the live comments section and saved in the description below what we think is going to happen with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Is evens to go to Barcelona. That is what's available right now from him. If you fancy a late last minute flutter, and I do it, I'm gonna our first bet of the night. I'm gonna stick a few cheeky quid. I'm going to stick a little £3.50 on Aubameyang. You can see it going in there, ending up at Barcelona tonight. There is hope, is what he said there. There is hope. Remember, this is up until the 3rd of Feb. I swear the loan market remains open until the 3rd of Feb. It's nearly always a little bit longer, right? We'll get that clarified. But I'm putting that on. It could happen. He could be gone. He could go, you know. The fact that he's come out and said there's hope. Who knows? There could be. There really, really could be. But yeah, thank you. If you guys are seeing news, at me in it on Twitter, and I'll do my best to get it out there. In terms of top 4, though, just quickly, who's now best position for it, in your opinions, to be making top 4? What are you saying, Patty? Are you feeling more or less confident now after this transfer window? Because you guys have obviously pulled 2 of the most sought after talents that we've all heard about. Do you know what I mean?
I love it. You know
how
what?
you feeling now? How you feeling?
I can't lie. I can't say I'm any more confident because, to be fair, I don't really know much about these players. I've just got to keep it 100. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm some, Serie A connoisseur and I've watched them play over and over. I haven't. I've heard good things about them. I know Conte wanted Callu when he was at Inter, but if I'm being real, I don't know much about these guys. I've heard they're good, and I heard they come in and they play obviously the way Conte wants us to play, but I don't know, man. The thing is, with us, we've left ourselves quite short. We've let Lo Celso go, Brian Gill go, Ndombele go, and obviously Dele Alli looks out the door. So that's 4 bodies out, and we're only getting 2 in. So I've got my concerns and reservations about actual squad depth. I know these guys weren't starting and they weren't really contributing like that, but they were playing. And like when we needed an Ndombele to step in against Liverpool, he played well, got the assist for Harry Kane's opening goal. So these guys at least were available. Now, if we only bring 2 guys in and don't get anyone else in, the numbers don't really stack up for me. So I don't know, Terry, man. Obviously, 2 players coming in is exciting, and they're both young, and they've got, Kalu's young. Bentancur's, I think, 24, 25. They've both got high ceilings, but I don't really know much about them, so I can't really give you a rundown if I'm being real.
Yeah, Egal, do you feel like Spurs? I mean, the idea was going into this window that Spurs were definitely going to improve, and it would be noticeable where we would all be like, "Oh, that looks good." Arsenal were meant to improve.
Yeah,
Man United, there were no guarantees of signings. Who's done the best business? Or who's now best placed to secure this final remaining Champions League spot? Or have we all just gone and done West Ham a big favor?
Who's done the best business? Who's the only one that's done business? It's Tottenham. By the way, Tottenham are the only one that's done business. So you know what? You got to give them some credit. They got some signings over the line. But as we've all said, we've all weakened our squad. And Tottenham's the only team that's actually added somebody. They've added 2 players. But you have removed, 5 players from your first team with Dele Alli.
4 at the moment.
What about Clark?
Come on, Jack Clark's not really. He never featured for the first team, so nah. If the guys that are featuring, it's Ndombele, Brian Gill, Lo Celso, and obviously Dele Alli. And again, none of those guys are starters. Let's be real, but they were available.
Let me ask you this: Brian Gill being out and all those midfielders being out, replacing them with 2 bodies, even if they're serviceable, do you feel like that raises your level to a level where it's now competing with Manchester United, and you already believe that your team's better than Arsenal, so forget about that?
If they come in and pull up trees, then yes, but they'd have to come in and hit the ground running. Like, both of them have got to be starters and obviously contribute. And that's a big ask for any January signing. And 2 of them to come in as well, it's hard. So to be fair, something I'm going to have to assess. I've got my reservations. Obviously, I hope it works, but it's a lot to ask, isn't it? Two guys that obviously haven't played Premier League football have got to come in, adjust, hit the ground running, and also, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I think what this does is, before the window, you could say any three of us were favorites to get it. Tottenham are now trying to separate themselves from the pack. And this could help them separate themselves from the pack. But at the same time, I feel like you haven't moved the needle too much. I'm not even trying to throw the salt or anything like that.
No, you're right. You're right.
Move the needle too much because you've subtracted 4 bodies, as you said, and you brought in 2.
Yeah.
You actually have less. You have less cover, and you have 2 players that are now part of Antonio Conte's plan. But at the same time, I don't think you've moved the needle too much. Where Arsenal and Manchester United, they've removed people, but they haven't actually added anything. So we've actually hindered ourselves a little bit more than you have.
That's a good way to look at it. That's fair, to be fair. That is quite a fair analysis.
It's a tough one. I think the math is in your favor. Like, realistically, like if you win your games in hand, but I don't like saying it out loud because everybody will say like, "Oh, he's so optimistic," and United are going to finish in top 4. It's what we do. We suck half the season. Then at the end, we make a run and we'll make it. The talent just is going to happen for me. I don't see, and I'm not saying like for sure it's gonna. I just feel like if I were to bet on it based on what we've seen with the Spurs dropping off in the second half, Arsenal needed signings. I don't care what anybody said after that gap, that whole 35 points you're on, Egal. Well, guess what? Like exactly what everybody thought was going to happen has happened, and it's going to stay there. You're going to stagnate. So I just see United getting their feet. I essentially see them getting better as the season goes on. Like Sancho, for instance, hasn't been good, and all he has to do is be average. And Paul Pogba hasn't even been in the side. So once those people come back, and again, I just think our talent's just enough to take us past Tottenham. Tottenham's the odds-on favorite. Like they should be mathematically, it shouldn't be a question. But I've seen Tottenham fail so many times in this situation. Like I would never bet on them.
It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be
tough. It's gonna be real close.
It's gonna be literally. Points. This is what I mean. This is why
you have a harder schedule though. Champions League.
Yeah, but
we've also got a very different.
If you look at
is it March or like April towards the business end of the year, Man United have got a run. I think of Liverpool, then Tottenham, then Man City, and then there's like 1 or 2 games before you have to play us at the Emirates as well.
Yeah, so, we always play well in those games.
Yeah, like the end running. I think if Tottenham and Arsenal can stay in and around United until that time, I think it's anyone's game. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion by any means.
Yeah,
United do have a stronger squad, but with United and Tottenham, they are under new management, and they have to kind of get a system in place, and their players used to playing in that system. Tottenham with 2 new additions trying to do that now as well, whereas we might not have the best squad or manager, but Arteta's had his system in place for a while, and it's, for the most part, it has worked this season, apart from the tough games. Have we got? I don't think it's all over.
What's really interesting? It shows how poor our windows have all been, though, because what we were expecting is more clarity and opinion by the end of this. It is in if Spurs had signed Diaz and Adama Traore and Bentancur, I think Patrick would be far more confident. If you guys would have bought in Vlahovic, or if you'd have bought in Isak as an example, I think you'd all be saying it's ours. We're going to do it. If Man United had obviously if we hadn't have had the Mason situation, which it is an additional person leaving, we can't get away from it. He isn't on the pitch, and Martial go. I think United fans go, okay, within the squad, it means people get more game time. There'll be less negativity in the dressing room. We can focus on the game, but it all seems to just feel the same, if not worse, than what it did before the window started. If that makes sense, it feels worse to me. And
it reminds. Go on. Sorry, Terry.
No, yeah, and I think to your point, Egal, around who. Man United having more games or less games. I don't think it's a bad shout at all. I think you're speaking a lot of sense there. My view, though, is just sometimes that regularity of game time can also help you because of flow. You guys play like 3 games in about 6-7 weeks. As great as that sounds for rest, there's no flow. We've seen teams before. Man United had a week or a few weeks off with COVID, came back and didn't really start playing very well because you're a little bit flat-footed. So I'm not trying to play down your lack of games and make it sound like it's worse than us having more matches. It's so hard. Right now, my opinion is I don't know who's going to make it. I've got less clarity now than I had before the window.
It reminds me of the 18-19 season where like Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, United were all fighting for that last spot, and it was just everyone was just losing points, capitalizing, and then everyone would lose points and capitalize at the same time. So it's going to be a close one. In terms of United, the thinning of the squad actually might make things easier for the team to learn Ralph's system because there's less players to try and think about, less players to be like, okay, when he's there, this is going to happen. But if it's someone else, it might be a bit different. So I feel like with the lower numbers and maybe the run of games, because I know people say, but look how many games got to play. Tell me the last time a team outside the top 4 finished. Let me rephrase this. Tell me the last time when a team that didn't have Europe broke into top 4. The last few years, every team that's got into Europe in terms of the top 4 had
it would have been Leicester. It would have been Leicester. The time Leicester won the league.
Exactly. So look how long that was.
I know.
So it is actually now. People say, oh, but they've got Europe, so it's going to be harder. Well, no, because history states that that's just natural. It's normal. And Terry's right with the run of games. And that's what we needed. We didn't need a break. We needed games on games on games to get everyone used to what we're doing.
I think in normal circumstances you would be right, and I think it will be interesting to see how much COVID impacts the back end of the season relative to how it has in the winter months. Like, I think when you factor that in with Europe and the FA Cup, which both your teams are still, United are still in. Tottenham have got the FA Cup. Will that have any effect as well? Like with people missing potentially, compounding that problem. Like, but it's anyone's race. I think still.
Yeah, there's people in the comments saying, "Lord, these teams like, oh, Liverpool did it, Chelsea did it." Yeah, 2017.
Let me ask
2022.
Let me ask you this: who has the least if, ands, or buts in order to get top 4?
I don't think there's any. I think there's still loads of unanswered questions. I think we've all got strong cases for and against. I don't think this window, like Terry's saying, it hasn't really cleared anything up. No one's really strengthened. Like, no one's come in with a marquee signing. No one's really changed much. Do you know what I mean? Like, even us, we've got 2 players in, but we've let 4 go. You guys haven't really done. Your team's still the same, really. Arsenal and United is still the same. So it's still the same.
You know what has changed? The title race with Luis Diaz. That's what might have changed. Besides that, I don't think anything else has changed.
You think there's going to be that much of it? I mean that as a genuine question. You think it's going to make that much of a difference? You think it will be
110%? Now they have 5 attacking options. Where in the case that Mane is not performing or Salah's not performing, you can bring on a Diaz or a Firmino or a Jota. You now don't only have 4 people in 3 positions. You have 5 people in 3 positions. They have the squad depth in the attacking areas, and their biggest issue has always been their squad depth. And I feel like Liverpool might have helped themselves with that big signing. And if they can get a Calvaho also on the in the last hours, which I don't know if they will, that could definitely change Liverpool's title hopes, and they could still be in it. Where before we were saying they're out of it because of their weak squad depth. If they bring in those 2 signings, I'm telling you, Liverpool are still in this title race, and it could definitely change the title race going forward. Because if they beat Man City in their next game, they're like 5 points away from them.
I mean, does anybody see that? Like, and this, does anyone see that kind of turnaround happening?
I don't really see it dropping much. I think even in itself, going to the Etihad and beating City there could be tough. And I think it would definitely be contingent, like Egal said, on getting a central midfielder as well. I think they would definitely need to strengthen in that area, just for both squad depth and quality, really. Thiago's not really staying fit. And, you know, when Henderson isn't either. So I just think, do they have the depth in midfield as well? And the quality? Because there's a big drop, you know, like I think Keita's coming back from AFCON, but again, does he stay fit? You know, like it's just, I think it's too much to catch City.
It's going to be hard to catch City. There's no doubt. Just some of the odds here that we want to put up on the screen for you. This is in relation to the top four as it stands. Chelsea still huge odds-on favourites at 1-33 to make it. So nobody is expecting them to fall out of it at all. Arsenal, Man United, Tottenham. Look at it, all at 7-4 each.
That's
7-4
crazy.
each. No one can split them apart.
Yeah.
And I thought the transfer window may have done that, and it hasn't. West Ham there on a 10-1. And do you know what's mad? West Ham ain't going away. The maddest thing is, one of the craziest ones here is what you've been saying, KJ, when you look at Wolves. Wolves are sitting there at 33. You fancy them to top four or is it top six?
I say top six is possible. Top four might be a stretch, but my thing is this: for us to just say they're just not in it when literally their game in hand puts them above West Ham, who everyone's saying is in it, they have to be in it. They have to be included. Now, if a few games go and they fall away from that, then I'll happily be like, yeah, cool, it's not his. But right now, they are lurking, they are sniffing. And we need to stop acting like Wolves are some team that we used to be in like 14th, 15th. That man finished in European spaces 2 seasons in a row. It's only last season they had a poorer season and finished in mid-table. But before that, they was in Europa League. So they're not like some random team that are not used to being there. They're used to being there. They used to be pushing. So if things go their way and they just keep grinding out their wins, they keep getting that defensive stability that they've got where they keep clean sheets and maybe add a few more goals, they're in the mix. They're in the mix, and they're in the mix until they're not. So for me, I'll put a cheeky bet on them just because. Do you trust Arsenal? Do you trust Man United? Do you trust Spurs? Do you trust West Ham? I don't trust any four of those teams.
Mate, looking at 33-1. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do a little back in a KJ here, and I'm going to stick a cheeky pound on Wolves to do a madness. I don't see it happening myself, but I can't look at them odds and not put a little cheeky pound on that at 33-1. I can't. But if I'm looking at this now, I still make Man United the favourites here. And, you know, I'm going to stick £10 myself on Man United being to make the top four. Now, that doesn't mean any Arsenal or Spurs won't, because there's a number of teams fighting for this. But £10 I'm putting there, and I'm going to lock that in on Man United securing it and putting it in. And that's just because I don't think Tottenham, and I have to go back to what I've been saying all along. I don't think Tottenham and Arsenal have done enough. I feel like a proper good window for either of them or both would have ruled Man United out. And although Spurs ended up with a couple of decent players, and look, listen, your signings might go down as genius, and we might look back in 6 months' time and go, wow, look how good they were. You know, sometimes these things click. I don't know. When it comes to strikers and Spurs, barring Harry Kane, like I'm just thinking about all the other strikers that you bought to go alongside or support Harry Kane in the last 5-6 years. And
well, apart from the fact that we don't really buy anyone, it's either Vinicius or Llorente. Llorente was okay. He did all right in that Champions League run. He got a few cheeky goals, even though some of them were.
Janssen? What about Janssen? Janssen?
Yeah. He was awful. He was awful.
Terry,
so,
if we flash back a couple of days ago, you guys were saying you're out of the top four. This not happening. Every single game going forward, it's going to interchange. We win a couple games, Tottenham win a couple games, Manchester United win a couple games. It's going to interchange. At this moment in time, I still believe any one of us can win it.
Yeah, we're all in the mix. I generally believe we're all in the mix until a team really messes up. It's anyone's right now. I really think that. I agree with Terry though. Just off the back of Man United's strength, squad depth, the fact that they finished there last year, you would have to give it to them if you had to give it to anyone. Man United definitely have the stronger squad, but we're all in the mix. There's no doubt about it.
Man United just all depends on if we find.
Is there an update?
Yes, there is.
1 second. What's the update? What's the update? What's the update?
Fabrizio Romano just tweeted, and it's from Laporta again saying on Aubameyang, it seems that we will pull it off, the Aubameyang deal, and then he starts to talk about Ousmane Dembele, saying various There are various solutions have been proposed. The last one depends on whether the player wants to accept it. Is to go to an English club. He has said to Mundo Deportivo. But yeah, so he's basically saying that Aubameyang deal is still on.
So if Aubameyang goes, the Arsenal get a striker.
Well, it depends on what's being said here. When it says there's various solutions, the last one depends on whether he wants to accept it. Could that be back to that report earlier of him already saying no to Arsenal? It could be Chelsea because he's linked to Chelsea. I can't see who else in England is in for Ousmane Dembele. Liverpool are not going to buy him. There's no space. Man United is an option, as in we've got that hole now because of Mason. Man United are an option. Chelsea are an option. Arsenal are an option. So he ain't going Spurs, I don't think.
No, we wouldn't do that. It doesn't make sense. We need other players. You don't need a Dembele
I don't
right
see
now.
where else he goes. So it's interesting. It almost looks like Aubameyang only goes if they can get rid of Ousmane Dembele. So if Ousmane Dembele says no,
anyone think of cheeky West Ham because they also fighting for top 4?
Imagine that. Imagine that.
That'd be mad.
This is where I come back to. This is where I come back to the conspiracy theorist Egal, Mystic Egal, and I say surely we're not going to let Aubameyang leave and only be left with Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette for the rest of the season. As a football club, you cannot be that self-destructive where you let Aubameyang go and you don't bring anybody else in. It just makes no sense. This is what makes me think we have
as well. So like,
it's a domino effect, guys. Listen to this. The domino is Aubameyang. Why are you laughing? I'm dead serious.
Yeah, let him land. Let him land.
I'm letting him land. That's why I'm not saying nothing. Go.
Man is just laughing. He threw me off completely. The domino effect is Aubameyang to leave, and then for them to use the wage that they have for Aubameyang to get a Morata or somebody else on loan. Maybe that's the possibility, but I don't think Isaac's happening anymore at this point. It's too late in the window.
Would you be happy with Morata?
Luke as well from Real Madrid.
Yeah, he's a better shout than Morata.
Yeah, but issue is, it's like if this was happening, the rumblings of Arsenal looking at people would happen.
Yeah,
we would know this.
This is the thing, right? I listen. I love and I respect your optimism, Egal. I do. However, it seems to me like I've used this example before. I use it again. When I first had my first, what I call proper sales role, I used to sell phones and I worked in retail banking. It was great. I had my first proper business development role. And I remember I sat in maybe my second one-to-one meeting, was talking about all these good things I was talking to customers about. I thought I had all these clients in my pipeline. And of course, the MD looked through it and was like, "This is the worst pipeline in the business. You need to improve it." And he gave me. I was young. I was 21 years old, learning my trade. Right, it's a proper job. I was like sitting down in front of business owners, trying to it was proper. And he said to me, "What you need to develop," he goes, "It's a cheesy saying, but let it stick with you for the rest of your life, son." I went, "All right." And what is it? He said, "You need to build a pipeline and not a pipe dream." And Egal, your domino effect sounds like a pipe dream to me, not a pipeline. I get where you're coming from. It's, hopefully Aubameyang goes and then Ousmane Dembele goes to Chelsea. That frees it up and then we can go and... It's not at 7 o'clock at night, bruv.
Accept it.
Accept it. You're getting no one, Machi. You're getting no one. Asna in the mud.
Terry, I literally just I'm pulling strings, right? Straws right now. I'm trying.
You're clutching, bro, and it's okay. It's okay. You see, the first part of freedom, the first part of freedom is acceptance. Just accept. Just accept the fact that, like Man United, your club. Your club is run by clowns. Your club is run by clowns, and what don't make sense to you and to the whole football world makes sense to them. So they will loan out Aubameyang and Florian Barragan and just have Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette as your strikers. They would. Gunnar King shaking his head because he knows he has to go training tomorrow and actually start preparing for the rest of the season. So that's why he's upset. He wanted that other striker to come in so he can take a day off. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It certainly.
I haven't eaten nothing all day. I'm stressed.
Don't let football do this to you, man. Don't let football do this to you. Not that
Football doesn't pay my bills, man. That's
crazy. But in fairness,
it's my day off. To be fair,
in fairness, it does pay mine. So I have to be honest. Now.
Yeah.
I do care, but even then, right? It's like people often say to me, like, "You've seen me on some streams recently, you're raging." One of the reasons I started doing this was I found it very cathartic to get it out and then crack on. And it's interesting because the landscape's changed in fan media, where there are a percentage of fans now. And I saw a United channel the other day having a dig at another United channel, sound like, if you want negativity, go over to them there. You'll never get any negativity here. And I'm like, bro, you must be constipated, like, to hold in the frustration. When I see people like putting on that brave face, like nothing's wrong, and they're sort of like, it's all okay, this doesn't bother me, I'm fine, it's all going to work out. My first view is, I understand you don't want to like holler or shout about your club, but it's like, let it out. You know, that very famous scene from one of the greatest animated films of all time. Let it go. Let it go. Freya knows all the words to every song. She walks around the house singing it. It's in my head. I actually listened. Sounds a bit. It's not sad, actually. It's my daughter. Like, if I feel like, if I'm working during the day and I miss my kids a little bit, I put on the Frozen soundtrack. It reminds me of Freya because she sings the songs. I don't necessarily like it, but it's like, it reminds me of my friends, so it's cool. But like, it's you got to just let it out, and again, I can feel it. Egal, you took a day off today to either be depressed or celebrate, both, one of the two, innit? It's like, you know where you could be concentrating at 10 o'clock tonight having to work, and I know the feeling, but it's a mad one for me.
I'm gonna say this to Gunnar King right now. Gunnar King, are you prepared for the reality that we're not going to sign anybody?
You're on mute, bro.
Oh yeah, you're muted, Gunnar.
Yeah,
I said like this is the history of the Arsenal. Yeah, that's what it feels like right now.
Why are you asking? That's like asking your girl 1 hour before the you have to go out for dinner. But are you accepting the fact that you have to go get ready? And she's sitting on the couch still, bro. You should have known from time, bro. Like, it ain't happening, bro. The signs there.
You know what? Transfer deadline day is mad. They might pull something off. You just never know, innit? You never know.
Listen,
it is late in the day.
That is true. But with what? 4 hours?
Nothing.
With 4 hours left. Do you trust Arsenal to get a deal done?
All it takes is one person, one legit source to say, boom, Arsenal are in for this guy, and then everything just starts moving. You know how it is. It's happened.
If Arsenal get a decent player, I can't wait to see Egal. Tottenham fans, are you? You know it's coming.
I can see that you signed Bentancur and Kulu. We signed this player. Come outside, Tottenham.
All I'm saying is,
I can't wait for Manchester United to start losing again. We'll see Terry flipping out again.
You will, and we will, and I will flip out. It is what it is.
Oh, it is screaming at you about lying, Gal. Don't worry about that. I'll be back.
Yo, listen, if we get something off at last minute.
Did you see the smile? Did you see the smile that wants to break out? The thought of it, even the thought of it is just getting him like,
very thought of you.
Egal, I want the same energy that you've had on this stream throughout. So if you sign someone, I want this same energy. I don't want to hear screaming, shouting. I just want calm and calculated Egal. That's all I'm asking.
Nah. We don't want that. The viewers don't want that. Give us what we want, Egal. Give us what we want if you sign them.
We want our Egal. We want our Egal back. We want our Egal back.
1 second. In a few weeks' time, Terry, when you start losing again.
Legendary brand.
Mate, that was a mad. I told you about that. My nan messaged me. My nan don't watch football, nothing. She was in like getting a damn blue rinse done, and somebody was playing it, and she's like, "What's that?" She goes, "Oh, some guy going mental on the internet," and showed it. That's my grandson. Madness. And then my nan's one of these old school nans, you know what I mean? It's sort of a little bit like, she'd be funny on camera. I went, "Oh, what do you think of it now?" And she went, "Oh, you sounded like a cunt." I was like, "Oh my god,
bro, that was everywhere. I seen it on Instagram pages for like UK Instagram pages, like crazy. I was shocked.
Wait, no, that was mad. But Terry can't have Man United losing anytime soon because that hair transplant, needs to stick. It needs to stay in place, bro.
It's true, bro. It's true. I need the transplant working. I need it working. I need it working. But it will work. The transplant will be fine. It will stay in. It will happen. Viewers, make sure you're smashing that like button for us, please. We're here right through. We're probably gonna go as close to deadline as we can. We're obviously gonna get more people on and get people involved. Interestingly, I mean, we may not last to 11. It depends if there's any news.
You don't last long, do you?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm saying like 3 deadline windows running, but there's nothing really like bubbling. Where like the summer of 2020 was amazing. There was like so many things happening that day. It was a wicked day. Now there doesn't seem to be a lot cracking. I think young David's going to be joining us soon to have his saying come on and whatever else. But and I mean, there ain't much else that's going on in terms of news right now. Chelsea, though, guys, I want to speak about Chelsea a little bit because they haven't done anything this window. Their fans seem really frustrated. But should they be frustrated, Chelsea?
My joke fell over everyone's head.
No. We heard it. We heard it. We're just not 12. Don't worry. We're just not 12 years old.
I think other than the wing back positions, they don't really need to strengthen. They've got a lot of depth there. I know some of the guys ain't cooking at the moment, but do they really need to bring another player in? I don't know.
I think
Chelsea.
The wing back situation with Chilwell, because they can't. The problem is they've got Alonso out on they've got Alonso in the squad still. Then they've got Emerson out on loan, so it's like they couldn't recall him. What are they going to do? They keep playing Alonso. Like, is that going to bode them well in the title race? I think, to be honest, well, are they still in the title race? They don't want to slip into the top 4 race. And to be honest, like the wheels came off when Chilwell got injured. If you look back at their season, so maybe that is something that, as a Chelsea fan, they might feel they should be concerned about. Really,
to be fair, they're screaming left wing back. They need to work about right wing back because who covers that? Reece James. I say Dan James. Who covers Reece James? Because Aspilicueta, he ain't got the legs for it no more. And at least Alonso, he's played left wing back for most of his career. They need someone to cover or compete with Reece James as well. And I know he's coming back soon, but the injuries that Chilwell and Reece James have had, it might take them just a little bit to get back to their full form and get back to firing again. So they need another right wing back, in my opinion, because Cho don't want to play there and isn't great there. You know what I mean? So Aspilicueta, when he's out there, literally teams just target him. They say, "Yo, fam, this not the ball past my man and sprint past the pensioner, bruv." I think that is actually more important than left wing back, in my opinion, for Chelsea. But they've got a strong squad. They ain't gonna drop out of top 4. They ain't battling top 4. Like top 4 for them or for me is done for them. Like they just need to find a solution to the Lukaku thing, wing backs, left midfield, because a lot of Chelsea fans don't like their midfield. They want to change it up. 4 at the back, 3 at the back. There's a lot of time left in the season for them to find a solution going into next season and not worry about dropping out of top 4 because, again, let's be honest now, do you trust Man United, Arsenal, West Ham, Spurs to really be firing and worry them? No. So I think they're good.
I hear you on that. We've got a couple of new callers coming in now. We're going to get Brandon on for a bit to have his say. Another Arsenal fan is here. Give me your take on today, mate.
It's a joke, Terry. Anybody who sits there and says otherwise is lying. It's simple as that. I don't know how. Egal, how can you say that we can still get top 4, mate? We are our squad has gone from A3 sheet of paper thin to Rizzler paper thin. We are literally an injury or a couple of COVID cases away from a disaster. We haven't brought any players in. That's a joke. On the 9th of January, this is Mikel Arteta in a press conference just before the Nottingham Forest game. On the 9th of January, Mikel Arteta said, and I quote, "We need to maximise every single transfer window." We've allowed 5 players to leave, nearly 6, because Aubameyang looks like he's on his way out. And we haven't brought anybody in. So how's that maximising your transfer window? There's only one club in the Premier League, in the whole entire Premier League, that could get away with not bringing a player in this window, and that is Manchester City, and that is because they are running away with a league title. Any other football club that hasn't even tried to strengthen their team, you're a joke, and that includes Manchester United as well. Although Manchester United, I kind of give them a little bit of a pass in a way, because I think they're kind of looking on the situation and thinking, well, I don't want to risk bringing in players that could potentially be sold on when they bring in their new manager. So I can understand from a Manchester United standpoint, but Arsenal, like, opportunity to get in the top 4. It's probably going to be the best opportunity that we're going to get in years, because let's be honest, nobody expected Manchester United to be as poor as they have been this season. All we needed was a couple of decent signings, and we haven't bothered to make any. Not one. Not one. And at the end of the day, I look at it like this, yeah? I was kind of mixed feelings on it.
Sorry, there's some breaking news, people. Breaking news from David Ornstein. Barcelona have a verbal agreement with Arsenal to sign Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on a 6-month loan plus 1 year deal that, if completed, will bring his Arsenal career to an end. Medical to take place tonight. David Ornstein has tweeted, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to Barcelona is set to be done tonight. According to Mr. Ornstein, that deal looks like it's going to be getting over that line very, very soon indeed. To add on to that, Brandon, that's another player looking like they're leaving right now. What do you expect after that?
What do I expect, or what do I think should happen? Well, this transfer window alone tells me that this regime is not up to the task, and that goes from Edu to Arteta, to Vinay, even to Stan and Josh Kroenke. Because let's be honest, right? Stan and Josh Kroenke should not be standing there and allowing players to leave the football club, trimming the fat, let's say, and not bringing in replacements, you know? And it's like they're allowing this to happen. But at the same time, who's in charge of the transfers? Edu Gaspar, yeah? This guy, out of the players that have left during just this window, we've allowed 3 of them to leave without even receiving any sort of fee whatsoever. Aubameyang, we're not getting a loan fee for. Kolasinac, we cancelled his contract. Callum Chambers, we didn't get any money for. Yeah, that in itself is a joke, especially when you're supposed to be a self-sustained club. How can you be a self-sustained club when you allow your assets to leave for free? Yeah, fine. And then on top of that, Mikel Arteta, he's part of this as well. You know, he is part of this as well. He identifies the players that he wants, but there should be a backup plan. We chased Vlahovic for 24 days, didn't get him. So who are you bringing in? You know, because you still need to bring in players. At the end of the day, the lad said it earlier as well. You know, Nketiah is out of contract in the summer. Lacazette, he's out of contract in the summer. So now we don't just need one striker. We need 3. Plus a midfielder. Plus, it's just a joke, Terry. It's a roundabout, mate. And I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the same crap. And fans, they need to wake up to all of this, because this is not good enough. It's not.
I must say, getting rid of Aubameyang as well must surely signal bringing in another striker. I mean, the only workaround I see to that is Martinelli playing as a striker. What's going on? I have to actually agree with you. You know, like, we've butted heads on a few things, but tonight I can't really argue with you.
Arsenal fans. James Benj, I don't know if he's credible for you guys. If he's verified, it says Arsenal sources indicate that this is not reflective of any breakthrough on potential incomings. They're willing to let Aubameyang go without replacing him. I don't know who James Benj is. Like, I don't know if he's credible for Arsenal, but that is.
But then saying that, Aubameyang hasn't played, so you're not really replacing him. He hasn't been playing, and that's not even a dig. That's just like you've done as good as you've done so far without him in the squad, in the team. So it's not really a miss, is it? But I know what you mean.
Because he gets injured.
But what happens if Lacazette? That great though. Let's not forget we scored 1 goal in January,
And
and
also,
we haven't won a game in January. So okay. I'll come to we have. It's not just January that Aubameyang hasn't been playing. He hasn't been playing before that, and we have done well without him. But Lacazette's got 3 goals to his name this season, and Nketiah hasn't even scored a goal in the Premier League. And everybody sits and says Aubameyang's finished. And look, I agree. Aubameyang's not the same player he was a couple of years ago, scoring goals, but he still scored the most goals out of all of our strikers.
Brandon,
Still,
I've got a question for you. Do you potentially think, I'm going to sound like a girl, do you potentially think this is short-term pain for long-term gain? Do you think that this potentially could be a thing where instead of going on the season now with Aubameyang and the noise and all the negativity around him, get him gone, get all these players gone, play with the young players, get them used to playing football for Arsenal in the Premier League, and then come the summer, you're bringing in more players in like you did last window, and then you go again, and that's just part of, I don't want to say it because I know you don't like hear it, but part of the process. Do you not? Is that something you can see?
yes and no. Yes and no would be my answer to that. Because while I agree with you to a degree, at the same time I just see it as another excuse. Because let's be honest, we are not getting top 4. Yeah, we have a great opportunity to get in top 4. And then the excuse come the end of the season when we don't get top 4 in May will be, we didn't have the players. We didn't get our first choice targets in January. So let's go again in the summer. And it's just another excuse to add to the reason as to why we should keep this manager and this technical director in charge.
It's not just an excuse as well. I mean, if you think next season, let's just say theoretically Newcastle stay up, yeah, which means they're going to go absolutely great guns in the summer, right? Let's just say Everton are going to be better under Lampard, with sort of a better squad, and they're going to go again in the summer. West Ham have had new investment, and I think a 29% shareholding was bought out of their club. They're flying high at the moment, and they're on the rise. They're getting better, so they're going to go again in the summer as well. Tottenham are not. They're going to go again in the summer, and if assuming a lot of these clubs don't start as badly as they did last season, next season, Leicester, for example, they started with an injury crisis as well. We're going to be competing with a lot more teams. And, I think to tie in with what's being said here, the position we're in now is 2 points behind United, who are 4th, having played a game less than them. Is it credible to believe that we could be in this position next time, next season, even if we do strengthen?
Do you know what's interesting about it as well? And this isn't a dig. And when a Man United fan says it, a lot of gooners take it as a dig. But another thing is part of the reason that you are only 2 points behind this is because we've been nowhere near the standard
exactly this
year. And I think, and that's why I felt it was important to go for it this January, because the door was ajar. There was an opportunity. If you guys were sitting 6, 10, 11 points off of top 4, all the improvements were here, but there was no talk of top 4. It wouldn't be as important, but it's because there's an opportunity, and you must have summer targets that you could go for now. Liverpool have proved that it's possible. And one thing I said a week ago, which every gooner wanted me to shut my mouth about talking about, or most that I came across, was this: if you were willing to drop 70 mil on Vlahovic, you've got money. There are midfielders, and there are defenders, and there are attackers you are linked with who could cost you less than that now, and they are available. Basuma is gettable. Neves is gettable. These people improve your team ahead of time. You haven't got to worry about only having a manager here 6 weeks and him integrating a new player with a new team. Your manager's been here over 2 years. It should be seamless because it should be somebody off of your target list. So I understand where Brandon's coming from. And I would say this as well to all the Man United fans and all the Gooners and anybody out there that's like, okay, let's be positive, people. Some Arsenal fans look at it like this. For nearly 20 years, I've been being positive every year. I'm sick and tired of waiting and buying into the story of why it's going to be different this time. It's the boy that cried wolf over and over again with our football clubs. And I'm not saying you can't recognize. And if you watch my shows with Lee Gunner, I'll sometimes say, come on, you got to recognize this is an improvement or this was pretty good. But I do get completely his overarching stance, which is just It's nearly 20 years that we've been here. This
And-
isn't a 1 or 2 year thing. This is a long-term
The
issue.
problem
I gotta head off.
as
See you
well,
guys in a bit.
Terry.
Take care, mate.
The problem as well, Terry, is the majority of the fans buy into this bullshit. That's what it is. The majority of these fans buy into this season in, season out. You know, we'll fail this season. They'll come out with a little statement, you know, nice, fancy, or Josh Kroenke will do a little press, or Mikel Arteta or whatever, and will say, yeah, well, you know, we're going to get it right this season. And then the fans will buy into it. There's two variables in a football club that can change the direction of where the football club is going. And that is the owners and the fans. Yeah. So if the owners are not putting pressure on the football club to do well like it should be doing, then it's up to the fan base to do that. But the fans are constantly bending over.
Let me ask you
and
this.
allowing this to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. When you say standards, isn't standards to continuously be as high as up the table as possible? So when I say I expect my team to be in top 4 and I think we can do it, that is also me abiding by the standards. So you can't have it both ways, my guy.
No. I get what you're saying. I get 100%. But what makes you think that we can still get top 4 when we've got 17 outfield players left at our football club currently? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're one injury and a couple of COVID cases away from a disaster.
Let me answer it. There's a lot of ifs and buts in every single scenario. But in the moment where we have to look at Manchester United. We have to look
also,
at Tottenham.
there's something else important to remember as well. Quickly, can I just mention this quickly? They've changed the rule for COVID. They've changed the rule. So our game against Liverpool set a precedent. 4 cases now. So, you know what Brandon's saying. You know, if we get 1 or 2 cases in a 17-man squad, if it's not 4 cases, the game's not getting called off. You know, like that time is over. So that's slightly concerning. Sorry, I just have to say that whilst I remembered it. Sorry.
I'll just say this, Brandon. It's very simple. What makes me think we're going to get top 4? I have to look at my opponents, as in Manchester United and Tottenham, look at their inconsistencies, look at our inconsistencies, and say, you know what, it's still achievable because we all are in a top 4 race because we're all underachieving to a certain degree or all being inconsistent this season. Now, if Arsenal even with our depleted squad and razor-thin squad, if we can stay healthy, which is one if we can compete with our players and have them play at the same level as they were playing before we went through this dip, that's another if. And also if the other teams around us drop off, that's the third if. So we need those 3 things to go our way to get top 4. But can those things happen? Possibly. Is top 4 completely over? No, it's still achievable at the end of the day. It's not like it's dead and buried. I think it's a very big, over dramatic statement to say top 4 is dead and buried. Until it's mathematically done, it's not done. And you know what?
I would agree. I would agree, Egal, that is a lot of ifs. Whereas if we'd have signed a couple of players, decent players, we could have almost guaranteed ourselves in the top 4. And that's what makes this transfer window such a disaster. Do you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't be sitting here going, if we can keep our players fit, if we can do this, if we can do that. It will be, we've signed 2 top players that improve our squad. We now have the best chance we could give ourselves to get in the top 4. We wouldn't be sitting here going, if. Do you know what I mean?
Gentlemen, I've just got to interject quickly. There is some breaking news. I've seen some stuff in the comments. It says here that Tottenham, this is from Sports Witness, but then there's a number of other outlets that have gone with this, that Tottenham have been in talks until a few moments ago for a player presumably to be on loan, but a deal couldn't be reached. There's a lot of rumours that Spurs were the team that were trying to loan Ousmane Dembele, that it was Tottenham that have been pushing for that player. This is here. Helena, this is from a journalist out of this is just Helena here. Condis Edo has said that Spurs have made a last-minute offer for Dembele, but it is an unfeasible option due to his salary. What they're looking at. So there's a number of reports coming out here saying that has happened. I'm just showing you what I'm being sent through and people copying me into. That Dembele to Spurs was the kind of touching in on what that. Loads of people tweeting about it now. Loads of people saying that this is a potential, or they tried to do it. They've joined the race. Let's see what happens here. A lot of people saying they've failed to do it, though. It's a failed attempt to try and bring him because they can't afford his salary.
Arsenal signed a player from Colorado Rapids.
Oh yeah, the goalkeeper. Yeah, that's the
No,
goalkeeper.
no,
right?
no. The goalkeeper plays for the New England Revolution. This is a defender from the Colorado Rapids, 23-year-old. Apparently, Colorado Rapids Twitter account announced it.
Oh yeah, he's joining
yeah?
in the summer. He's joining in the summer. There you
Oh,
go.
in the
You got your
summer.
player. You got your player. You got your player.
Yeah, Arsenal signed 3 players this window, and they're all joining in the summer.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We've got Ram and Tom that we're going to be bringing in very, very soon to have their say. Dave, like, what's your take on the stuff with Arsenal? Because it looks like nobody's coming in. Aubameyang looks like he's going to be allowed to leave, according to Mr. Ornstein. Like, is this as positive as sort of Egal's kind of spinning it, or is this disastrous as Brandon is making out? Like, where do you sit as a neutral looking at this?
I think Arsenal have had the worst window out of the top 6, personally. Like, it was going to be Spurs, but then like Spurs actually pulled it out of the bag and pulled off like 2 pretty decent signings that improved them. Arsenal haven't improved their squad at all. I think Arsenal have been overperforming, and like they're kind of like the 7th to 8th best team in the Premier League, and they were just really like riding a wave. And when you're riding a wave, the best thing you can do is like really invest, especially when the other teams around you are underperforming. Really invest and try and keep that wave going, because it will run out eventually. And I think, especially with only having 19 players in total or something ridiculous like that, and having like 3 midfielders, you're actually like not even 3 midfielders that are good. You have like 1 good midfielder and then 2 okay-ish midfielders.
3 centre backs as well, mate.
Yeah, it's like you're really struggling at that point, and I just think you're just going to run out of steam. That's what I think. I think you had the worst window, personally. And like the people you were trying to sign, when you were lit with like I love Egal, like I really do. But you almost want to be hurt, and I don't get that. Like, your club hasn't shown you any reason for you to trust them at all. But like every time you're linked to someone, you're there like, this guy. I'm like 65-70% confident. And then like every day that passes, like you say something and it just goes down and down and down. And then eventually it just doesn't happen. Like, I feel bad for you, but I kind of don't feel bad for you, because you kind of like bring it on yourself a little bit. But you know, that's just me personally. But yeah.
That's just rival chat. Brandon, Gunnar King, I want to appreciate you both very much for coming on and having your say. It really means a great deal to us. We're going to rotate some new voices and stuff into the show now. We'll speak to you both soon. Thank you. Rams here with us now. Gunnar King, legend, mate. Actual literal legend and super fan of the Football Terrace as well. So thank you very much, my bro. Appreciate it. Take care. Young Tom Little's joining us now as well. And Tom and Ram join us at a great time, because there is some positive news that things look to be progressing very well for Fabio Calvaho, the young starlet, trained by the same man as me as kids, Mr. Hagger. Big up yourself, sir. Head of development and everything else over at Fulham. But yeah, decent window for you boys.
Yeah, it's
very not normal. I'm not used to this sort of stuff. I'm still sort of trying to wrap my head around us doing this much good business in January, and especially with the fact that we're looking to move on Nico Williams and Origi still. Like, we could still make a decent amount. Arsenal, the striker, you can't do much worse than Divock Origi now with 4 hours to go. Even if it's just a quick little deal, you're that desperate for a striker. Why not take the punt? Just chuck us 20 million, easy.
Chuck us 20 million.
Scored in Champions League final.
I mean, look at Egal's face.
Yeah,
he might have the most Champions League appearances in that squad.
Do you want to hear some club PR here? Do you want to hear some club PR from Fabrizio Romano? This is what he said about Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard will sure at United. I think he means stay at United. Final decision has been made. The plan was always that Lingard would stay. The club are convinced he will be an important player for the second half of the season. Like, you know, when you hear that important player part, yeah, because he's played so many games up until now. He's so important for us. Absolute crazy. They couldn't get the deal done in relation to that. Madness that anyone who sits, I almost guarantee he doesn't even play. I bet he plays. He starts no more than 5 league games. Like, unless there's major injuries. Like, he ain't important.
And Lang is ahead of him at the minute, isn't he? Like, there's no point in keeping him. There's just no point.
It's absolutely true. I want to have a little bit of fun for a moment, though, as we talk about Arsenal and Spurs. We've got bet odds here. I'm going to put the odds into the live comment section and pin them. Patrick, will Tottenham finish higher than Arsenal in the league this year? Are you confident of finishing higher than Arsenal in the league?
Go on, Pat.
Yeah, I am. To be fair, I was always confident. Don't get me wrong. When Arsenal had their run, I was like, shit, these guys are actually a serious team. But after the dip in January and the fact that you haven't strengthened right now, don't get me. I'm still not counting Arsenal out.
On full screen, and I want to hear him repeat himself.
Yeah, go on, put me on full screen. It's all good.
Just very quickly before we go into this bit, Charles Watts has tweeted to say he's told that Aubameyang will join Barca on a free transfer if it goes through. So Arsenal,
gone
away for free. Arsenal are giving him away for free. For free.
Why are you surprised? Why are you not?
Just to get the wages up
Wow.
a bit.
How much did you spend for him? Like 60, 70 mil, and you're giving him away for free.
Hang on, guys. This is Arsenal fans trying to pretend they're happy.
No. Stop the disingenuous laughter. Have you guys not been following this story? Have you guys not known that it's been a free transfer the whole time? Or are you guys just...
Nah, but we just can't believe it's actually happened. You're taking a massive L, bro.
La gal. No.
When was the last time you sold a player for money?
We just sold...
Bruv, they'll be selling their players on a bring on buy sale for blue pizza.
Giving them away.
You're Charity FC, man. Charity FC.
Wow.
I swear to God.
Wow, is it done?
Did we not?
Aubameyang, it's coming up on my phone now. Aubameyang leaving on a free. End of an era.
Egal, if you have time left on your contract,
We just sold Callum Chambers. We just sold Callum Chambers.
leave for free. You let him go for free, didn't you?
How many years? I swear he had like 6 months left.
Yeah, we got like 2 million from Callum Chambers.
Oh,
that's money, right?
When was the last time you got over 10 million for the player?
I think Iwobi we got a decent amount.
When was that, Egal? When was that?
No, you know what? They got decent money for the guy that went Newcastle. He had a decent little run.
Joe Willock.
Yeah, Willock.
There
you go.
Arsenal signed a player. Arsenal have signed some players this window. It's absolutely a joke. We've signed randoms from America and some under 16 kid, but we haven't actually addressed the needs that we need this window. So if you guys are gonna banter, actually bring serious banter, not dead banter.
Well, to be fair, like the fact that you let Aubameyang go, that's 350k off the wage packet a week. You have to get a striker in now, right? That's a free space.
Who can they get?
But who?
I don't know, man. That's where the scouts come in.
This is why people laugh though, and I know that Arsenal it was always going to be a free. So you're freeing up £300,000+ a week, and you were willing to spend 70-odd million pound on Vlahovic, and you've signed no one. That is over £100 million of savings or money you were willing to spend combined, and you've gone and done nothing. And this is why Brandon's angry, because this thing will happen. The can gets kicked to the summer, to the next window, and you may not deliver in it. Arsenal fans want action now. They don't want to be keep being told next time, because it's nearly 20 years of regression that your club has gone through. And I know that some gooners want to be positive, but they have to learn to accept that people are not going to start to be positive until they see continual, like the right things done. And for a lot of Arsenal fans, they are seeing history repeat itself right about now. And listen, when Man United ended up selling Alexis Sanchez for free, just to free his wages up, it's a massive L, because it shows that whole transfer was wrong at the end of the day. Whether or not you win an FA Cup or a League Cup with it or whatever else is irrelevant. Like, players like Aubameyang on that kind of money are here to lead you back to the promised land. And I know that because my club has failed on so many occasions. Liverpool will tell you, like these two young bucks may not, but Liverpool up until 2013 has spent more money in the Premier League era than Man United had done on players. That's why there was always so much frustration at their football club that they'd outspent Fergie, and for all intents and purposes in the Premier League era, never came close to him. And Arsenal and Man United now behave like that. We spend money like we're two of the biggest spending clubs in the world. And look where we are. It's crazy to me. It's crazy that there are more Arsenal fans are not frustrated about this, if I'm being honest. Very crazy to me. Very crazy.
What about Dembele to Arsenal? Now that Aubameyang
With the
goes
injuries
off
that
away?
they have already, Pat.
Nobody wants injured ass Dembele. He can get out of here with injury.
Now you're taking liberties right here, there, Pat. And come
Bro,
on.
No, but you do. But Egal, you do have
nobody
17
wants
players.
a player who's gonna come into your
You
team.
have
be there for-
17 players.
Bro,
Like
the
17.
man came back from injury, got injured in training 2 days later. I don't want that kind of player, bro.
Egal,
He's
you have
brutal.
17 outfield players available. That's barely a Premier League bench. Barely.
I don't care. I'm gonna stand
You have
by
to
this.
care, bro. You have to care.
I stand by this. If it's not a striker, Ousmane Dembele does not move the needle for us. At the end of the day, he's gonna come in and he's gonna be playing the same. He's gonna be sitting on the same bench as Pepe. That's it.
Terry, are there any free agents out there?
Do you think Saka is better than Ousmane Dembele? As I forget the injury, do you think he's a better footballer?
He's more reliable. That's what.
Technical football? No, that's not the question, though, Egal. Who
That
is
is-
a better technical footballer, Ousmane Dembele or Bukayo Saka?
That is not. I don't care.
No, you're not wiggling out of this, bro. Just answer the question.
Let me answer it. It doesn't matter who the more technical player is. If he's not on the pitch, it doesn't mean nothing.
Just answer the damn question, please.
I've answered the question. The
No,
most important thing in football is reliability, and if you can rely on a player.
Okay. In a hypothetical world.
No one gives a shit about a player if they're in the hospital bed every single day. Realistically, Manchester United fans can talk about Donny van de Beek, but the fact that he's on the bench and he's not playing, you never know what is happening with him. The same way they can talk about what's his name, the other guy, what's his name, the center back who was always the
centre back, Varane.
Bailly.
Eric Bailly. You can always gas up Bailly, but he's always injured. At the end of the day,
dead either
if your
way.
players are not fit and they're not playing, you cannot rely on them. So I don't care.
That's not the question.
And by the way, Gal's answer, he's answered it without answering. He's answered it without answering because we all know. By the way, we all know that Ousmane Dembele, if he was fit enough, technically, as an inside forward,
he's better than Mbappe. Technically,
a lot of people would say that. Like a lot of people talk about how good he is.
He goes right.
He is phenomenally good. There is a report though coming out from Mundo Deportivo that Ousmane Dembele is reportedly nearing an agreement with Tottenham. That is a report. That is a report. And you know that's funny though.
Back up.
I tell you what's going to happen if you sign him. I tell you what happens when you sign players like Dembele, who are injury prone but technically gifted, is you start to get that what if vibe of, but what if we don't get injured here? Yeah. Because of how good he is. I just want to throw people's attention back to the odds that we put out earlier. The link is still in our description below. If you haven't refreshed your stream, please do. We're going to go back to those other odds a moment ago about Arsenal and who's going to finish higher. But Spurs, just so you all know, odds. I see Spurs have gone from 12 to 1 to 4 to 1. They've gone from 12 to 1. I'm going to stick a little bet on now in case. I looked a minute ago and I carried on listening to Egal talking and I've lost it. Now we're at 12 to 1. I'm going to stick a quick £3.50. I'm going to stick in there on those odds to get that done. That's locked in. They've gone from 12 to 1 to 4 to 1 with Bet Victor. If you are a betting man or woman or person, whatever your pronoun, okay, the link's in the description below. Now, don't miss out if you fancy a little responsible flutter because the odds are shortening and they are shortening fast. They are shortening fast. Now, I've just gone and done that and someone's probably going to say, actually, someone else has just tweeted saying it ain't happening. But listen, we'll wait and see. But Patrick, it did just feel like you got the what if thing here. Hang on. Fabrizio tweeted as well. Barcelona preparing contracts and paperwork for Emre Aubameyang. Final stages now. Medical now in place. Do you know what's crazy? An hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, the news was it's off, it's dead, and now it's happening again. It's that's done. That's over. Here he goes. He goes through. But yeah, Ousmane Dembele would be such an interesting one if that was to go through, wouldn't it, Pay?
I've just seen. Can you not hear me? Because I took out my AirPods because they died. But can you not hear me?
Perfect.
Yeah. Come through. Okay, brilliant. But I just seen something where Fabrizio saying, as it stands, it's a no, but you can never say no in this market. So I don't know, man. Like
hang
conflicting reports.
Okay, so he's just tweeted it again. Ousmane Dembele and Tottenham is not possible for the final hours.
Yeah.
No chance. Same message from the club and player side. Okay, so he's now saying there's no. I just wasted £3.
Yeah.
He's now saying there's no chance.
It's a nice one. Like in terms of like you're saying, Terry, like the flirtation of a player of his caliber is tantalizing. But he's always injured, and like I was saying, it's like I'd rather spend that money on someone else if there's a chance. But
I look at it like
it's one of them ones where when a player's that good and there's opportunity to grab him, sometimes you got to take it. But I'm not too bothered if we don't get him, but I still feel we need another player in.
Yeah. What I will say about Fabrizio, normally when he does the no chance, it's not happening. There's nothing that could be done. That tends to be the case. What did he I'm just checking whether he tweeted about Aubameyang earlier when everybody else was saying it was off. He didn't. But there we go. So it's interesting that the other outlets have gone with that story, though. You know, you saw the odds shorten very quickly. But the reason I stuck the quick little bet in is because I am a betting man, and it was only small bets. I only do small amounts, but it was like, if that deal was then like another big story came out, it'd go to evens. You're not going to make any money. So it was worth it. You know, it was worth it for a biscuit. Do you know what I mean? But back to what we were saying earlier. For Arsenal to finish above Tottenham it's 5-6. Are the odds on it 5-6 for Tottenham to finish above Arsenal. What are you saying, Tom? Who do you think's finishing higher out of the two North London teams?
Tottenham. I think this transfer window will have a massive impact on it. You know how big transfers are in terms of the club atmosphere, and all Arsenal seem to do is give away players who, while they may not have been all that impactful on the pitch, considering they're not playing much, in the dressing room they may have been a big influence. You know, that might have a little effect there. Whereas Tottenham, you know, they've just brought in Kulusevski and Bentancur. They've let go of some players who probably don't want to be there. They're not pulling the weight. The atmosphere around that club just seems to be a lot better at the minute. And I just think Conte's finally starting to shift out some of the players that don't fit his system, getting the players that do. And Arsenal are just an injury away from having no potency in attack. I mean, it's criminal. It's criminal that you're going into the second half of the season with top four on the line, with Lacazette and Nketiah as your only strikers. Like, that, there's no possible outcome in my mind where that works. Nketiah isn't going to suddenly turn to a 15-goal a season striker and start bedding chances. It's criminal from Arsenal to not. I mean, Duvan Zapata from Atalanta, this entire window has been, you can have him on a loan for $5 million. Like, I don't get why Arsenal aren't over that, because you don't need this striker who's technically great, link up this, that, and the other, because you've got Ødegaard, Smith Rowe, and Saka to do that. You just need someone who stands up the pitch in the box and puts the ball in the net with chance or half chances. You do not have that at the minute, and that's what it comes down to with these title races. Tottenham have now got that creativity.
Someone just tweeted that the Aubameyang deal's off, so I don't know what's going on at the moment.
Who though? Who's tweeted?
Well, it's someone called Victoria, but I don't know where they got the source from.
Someone called
Victoria person. Yeah, our old saying. Anyways, what the hell's going on?
A tweet here has just come out. Sorry, from Get French Football News. This has come from RMC. They've said that Ousmane Dembele will stay at Barcelona until the end of the season. More to follow. So that looks like that's absolutely done in terms of he is going nowhere. According to that bit of news. But again, an hour ago there was nothing. Source Patrick's girlfriend Victoria is who gave him the news. Is what says there. Pap says, was it Victoria? Was it Victoria Beckham? Was it Victoria Beckham?
Nah, it was Victoria with loads of characters, numbers afterwards. It's from the actual Terrace tweet. So I don't know, someone that follows the Terrace, but yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna head out. Have a good one. I'll see you guys.
Bro, take care. Yeah,
Egal, take care, man.
Egal's definitely got to go.
Why is this guy winking? You see this guy wink?
Egal's feeling it. Egal's feeling it, bro. Egal is feeling it. He's
too funny.
Feeling it, bro. He's absolutely feeling it. Yeah, look, it's one of those ones. Someone said, was it Victoria's Secret that shared the news? That everyone's trying to work out Victoria's Secret having their say and doing their thing. Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. It feels like it's going to be one of those windows that's really going to peter out. I mean, Carvalho will may or may not get done. Do you, from a Liverpool point of view, is he someone? Are you going to keep him now or loan him straight back?
He's going to go back on loan to the end of the season.
Yeah,
I think that's like the sticker in this thing. That was
because he's also an integral part of Fulham, and they're challenging for the title. So it'll be a no-brainer for Fulham to get him back. So I think he'll go back.
Relationships between the club isn't great after the whole Harvey Elliott situation. So this would just help sweeten it.
But then again, we gave him Harry Wilson. So
yeah, who wants Harry Wilson though?
I mean, clearly Fulham wanted him.
Nah, a championship level, baller.
You know what I'm saying? Free kicks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely. But
yeah, I hear you. We've got some super chats here we're going to do. We've got quite a few to go through. First one here says, we could have signed both Kamara and Zachariah by utilizing loan outgoings, but the board wants PR and shirt sale signings and sucking the club's dividends since 2010. I hear you on that. I think a lot of people would agree with you. In relation to that, to be honest, let's all laugh at Aubameyang is what Man City are winning the Premier League and PL this season says. Origi is better than Lacazette and Eddie Murphy is what Adam's got to say here. Breaking news: Man United sign someone's dead.
Okay, you get it. I get it.
I just about got there. Tottenham playing 3-4-3. Defo have enough depth apart from up front. Romero and Son to come back. And Conte grinds results. Spurs being slept on is what SB's got to say. Patty, I like that one. Pogba returning has a bigger bearing on the top four, in my opinion. I think that's a good shout. I mean, Paul Pogba, it will have that. Yeah, it will have that new signing feeling to it. I hear that. Yeah. Chelsea did it with Conte in 2017. Dancing in the Arsenal light is what Strip Bear's got to say. I think we need moonlight to get you. Still better than AWB. I'm not too sure what that's being spoken about, but someone says
who is?
We don't know, Laddie. Laddie just wrote that. I hate my love. Chelsea, yeah, the same. Hate us. We are that good. Is what Strip Bear's got to say. Arteta is a disgrace of a manager. Obama gone now. No striker coming in. Top four. Don't make me laugh. No depth up front. I back the players, but not him.
I swear Arsenal got a good youth system. Apparently, they rave about their youth academy as well. So I swear they can just bring in some players just to cover it up.
Ooh, that's a tough ask, man.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough ask. Arsenal are getting what does it say here? Isak. The deal is done. I bet 50 quid already. He will join Dubai Training Center. I know, bro. Isak release clause paid is I mean, that actually sounds like a lot of the Gooners that phoned into the show on Saturday, to be fair. Sky Sports confirm BFC signing Aubameyang is in Barcelona FC. Yes, thank you. Carl here says, is the who? I don't know.
Mateus Cunha
real? As in the link? I don't know.
He plays for Madrid, I swear. Does he play for Madrid?
Yeah,
I think there was some rumours about him going to Arsenal.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Berlin won it. Yeah, it was half of Berlin.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's Leipzig.
Was it Leipzig? Was it?
One of those two. I don't know.
One of the two, yeah.
I think he done both of them. I think he went from Leipzig to Berlin and then to Madrid.
Yeah.
And Arsenal were linked with him.
Yeah, that's what he says there. Question for the panel: between Gareth Bale and Ousmane Dembele, who are you picking for your club?
Ousmane Dembele.
Is younger.
I would say Bale, because last year he actually played a lot of games and did quite well for us. So at least he's got that in him. Dembele hasn't had that run of games for a long time.
I mean, Gareth Bale. By the way, Gareth Bale's pomp when he was sensational. He was sensational. I'd go Gareth Bale. Prem proven. I'm going to go with that old chestnut.
Yeah, there you go.
This Chelsea fan bottom right is the worst. He's now top right. Laugh at laugh at the flop Lukaku. No forward at Chelsea is happy right now. That's funnier than Aubameyang leaving, is what DH has got to say.
Nah, I disagree.
But I don't like
that's nonsense.
Yeah, but I didn't like Lukaku anyway, so yeah.
But you lot are scoring goals though.
If he's here,
you don't have goals in the
enjoy
team.
what I can. And you know,
you don't have goals in your team. Arsenal are struggling for goals right now, and they're still not getting a striker in. That's what most Arsenal fans' biggest grievance is. The fact that he didn't address that in the window.
They will take Lukaku, and I want Lukaku gone for like 30 mil. So levels.
Boy.
You want to make a 70% loss.
He sounds happy with that. Well, look, if you're happy, you're happy. You know, that's the way it goes. In terms of the transfer market, not much else is really going on at the minute. I did want to ask about Man United as well. There's another little set of odds I wanted to have a look at here. Will Man United? I say we haven't even put a bet on the other one yet. I'm being silly here. So we're gonna go. Are we gonna go with Tottenham finishing above Arsenal?
Yeah,
comfortably.
So it's currently, if you look at the odds in our description below, the odds on that currently right now are sitting at 5 to 6. Okay, so 5 to 6.
That's decent.
Odds. Yeah, not bad. So if we look at the betting slip here, we're going to put a little £5. We'll click on the 5, put done in. Little £5 on Arsenal to finish above. Sorry, Tottenham to finish above Arsenal in the league. That bet is done. That bet is locked in. That is good to go. The other one that I wanted to take a quick butcher's at was Man United, of course, haven't had an amazing window. We're thin the squad out. Some say it's good, some say it's bad. Man United to win a trophy. The odds are 5 to 1 on Man United to win a trophy this season. There's only two options, FA Cup, Champions League. What are you guys saying? After this window, can you envisage or see Man United doing it?
No.
The only chance is FA Cup. Champions League.
FA Cup.
Yeah, Champions League is definitely.
Yeah, Champions League probably not. FA Cup, you're in with a shout with everyone else, no doubt. But I still don't see it. I don't know. Who have you got next in the FA Cup?
They've got like Plymouth in it.
No, we got Plymouth. Chelsea.
So it's a decent fixture.
No, I think they got Middlesbrough. I want to say they've got Middlesbrough.
They've got an easy side.
Yeah,
either
they got
Millwall or Middlesbrough.
Yeah, they got Middlesbrough because there was a massive
they got Middlesbrough.
The ticket prices.
They got Middlesbrough February the 4th, this Friday.
Yeah, it's Middlesbrough. Yeah, we'll be in the studio for that watch along and all that jazz.
Okay,
there is some new news from Samuel Luckhurst. I love how this sentence is constructed. Manchester United are blocking Watford's attempt to sign Dean Henderson on loan. Everybody else just calls it rejecting a deal. When it comes to Man United, we call it blocking a deal. It's very strange. They make it sound like so forceful and like we're like literally stopping him from getting out the building. You're not leaving. You're going to stay. Man United are just not going to thin their squad any further. They're not going to do it. I can't see him doing it. The Dean Henderson one was probably never going to happen, as it were. Look, United winning a trophy is a difficult one. Champions League, I felt if we'd have done well this window and bought in a midfielder or two that really improved us, I felt like there was a chance. I felt like there was an opportunity. I felt like we could have done something, but no, like we haven't done it. The midfield hasn't improved. You know, the midfield hasn't improved for the right reasons. We've lost one of our best attackers. Martial's gone out on loan with no replacement. Ahmad, no replacement. Donny, no replacement. We have no idea how Pogba's going to play. It's not good enough for me. And I feel like, again, there's always an opportunity, you know, when you get a new manager, you guys, and I'm not suggesting that Rangnick is as good as Tuchel as an actual manager, but I'm just disappointed in what we've done this window. We've thinned out our squad too much. And a little bit like the Arsenal fans were saying, we get a couple of injuries now in certain areas, like up front. And I tweeted earlier and said we've got 4 senior attackers now to fill 3 positions. So that it was like, well, it's 5 if you include a Lingard. I said, yes, why I mentioned senior play. I ain't putting no pressure on them kids. If Rashford picks up another injury and Cavani's hamstring goes, we've got 2 attackers to fill 3 positions.
You're a little bit like Arsenal, not going to lie.
Oh, it's farcical to allow this many to go. And a lot of people saying, yeah, but we didn't know that Mason.
Sorry, Terry, did you include Sancho in that? So
you got Sancho, Rashford, Cavani, Ronaldo. Lingard, hang on, I'm lying. Lingard is staying now, actually. So when I tweeted earlier,
so you got 5. So
it looked like Lingard was going to leave. So with Lingard staying, it's a little bit better.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a little bit better, but overall, like just not happy at all with the level of nonsense and the amount of players who are allowed to leave. You know,
you guys are all right, but I don't compare it to the likes of Tottenham, who've sort of stacked their squad a little bit. It does look a bit unlikely that top 4 might be.
I don't know, man. I think United are probably in a stronger position for me still. The fact that all the players there are all bedded into the system. They all know the system. Yes, the manager's still got to get a tune out of them, but United still have the most quality out of Tottenham, Arsenal, and obviously West Ham even. Hey!
I've never seen someone so happy.
Right.
Did any other Arsenal fans come on, or just me?
No, they've all been here. The mixture's been amazing. We've had like some real positive ones, and then we've had some negative ones. And
who came on?
Yeah, Egal's been here. Gunnar King. We've had Brandon. There was another Gunnar. I can't remember who it was.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah,
because I was like, I'm sure nobody. Okay, cool. All right.
The best part was Egal just calling all journalists liars.
They're hard to get. I said it.
Yeah, Egal's not in a good place. He's not in a good place. We bought some new memes in for Egal today. Here's one for Egal. Another one for Egal. If you don't know what that scene's from The Office, you need to have better pop culture. But there we go. But how are you, Jess? Like, I know we spoke last week, and you said you were going to wait until today. So I have to ask you, because I don't know if our show is going ahead Wednesday, because of course I'm getting I've got surgery on my head. Surgery on the head,
surgery on your head. Right.
How are you feeling now about your window now that it's pretty much done? Aubameyang also leaving on a free transfer as well. You're giving him away. Like, give us your take, please.
What window? There was no window. It was just, I didn't want to wait and to see, because I just was like, okay, well, there might be a chance that we do something, but we did nothing. And I just don't get it, because it just feels like with Arsenal, it's like either you get your number one target or you get nothing at all. And there's obviously options in between there that can improve the squad and kind of paper over the cracks so that you make sure you make your targets. And so you can actually attract your number one target in the summer. And so this whole idea that like, oh, it's fine and it's chill, I just think it's a massive risk. And I saw like the title was like, have Arsenal and Manchester United failed? I don't think Manchester United have necessarily failed, because they have enough quality to continue to make that the top 4. I mean, ultimately their season hasn't been great, but they'll make the top 4. They're the best place to do it. Spurs have also at least bolstered the squad. I don't know if Kulusevski and Bentancur will like necessarily push them up, but there'll be somebody there. We didn't do anything. It was a failure. Like, it is a failure, because we went after a striker and we clearly need it. And not only did we not get it, but then we probably gave away our best striker. And I get that we're going to save 25 million on wages, but it's just weak. Like, it's just weak. And so I think we missed out on top 6. I have to be honest. I just feel we will have another moment like we did in January, where the worst case scenario will come about and we'll be out of the race for top 6. I don't even think top 4. Any Arsenal fan thinking about top 4 needs to get real. Get real. We were barely in that race to begin with. And without a striker, like, come on now. Eddie and Lacazette, like, it's dead. Like, it's actually dead. So, yeah, I'm not feeling great, but I had my main meltdown about 48 hours ago. So now I'm just kind of like looking at everybody else meltdown. But, like, we're not going to make the top 4, and we'll be lucky to scrape top 6. And it's going to be really brutal, you know? So there you go. But somebody needs to lose their job if we don't make top 6. Everybody needs to go.
No, I hear you, Jess, and I think these are the things. I understand everyone at a different standpoint, because so you've taught me fairly recently is everybody's different, and I'm someone who's not often good at recognizing that. It's like, no, you should all not think the same way, but when you're annoyed about something, you should react similar, and that doesn't happen in life. And some gooners will go, well, let's wait to see what happens in the summer. You are right. £25 million in wages for Aubameyang are now saved. That's back on the books. you offered 70 odd million pounds for Vlahovic plus his wages. So collectively, in terms of what you're willing to spend and give to Aubameyang, you're looking at anywhere from 120 to 170 million pounds of money that's now freed up through the sale of Aubameyang and not landing Vlahovic. That alone means, plus other positions you now need to fill, if you're not dropping over 200 million pounds this summer, your club are taking the piss. And that's where, if you're someone that doesn't mind kicking the can, your expectations for the summer have to be gargantuan because...
Well, that's why I also said, like, I don't want to hear anything about, like, needing to sell to buy in the summer. We should go straight into the window and get our number one targets, and they should be, like, damn near they should be in the shopping cart ready to go to checkout day one of the transfer window. Like, I'm not going to be hearing anything about, oh, well, we need to sell Xhaka before no, absolutely not, because you didn't do anything now. And you have the money. We put in a bid for Isak as well for like 70 million, or not 70 million euros or something, but it wasn't enough to do the release clause. So we got money. So, and we don't have any players. So what will we need to wait for? But the issue that they're going to come across is that if we don't finish in the top 6, your number one targets, Ruben Neves, Tielemans, whoever you're looking at, aren't going to want to come to Arsenal. Like, that is what you're actually contending with here. Like, what's the point? You know, so you could have secured your number 3 target, which is up there with Ruben Neves and Tielemans, which is Bruno Guimaraes, and made sure that you could secure your striker in the summer because you don't have dumb Xhaka killing the season. You know, so it's just, they look so dumb and naive. They're so dumb. Like, they actually are stupid because, like, okay, if you're Ruben Neves and the summer rolls around and you have 3 clubs in for you, let's say it's Spurs and Manchester United and Arsenal, and Arsenal are sitting in 7th, are you going to go there just because you're their number one target? No. So it's naive. But the way the window has been handled has been naive. The way player interactions and man management has been at Arsenal since Arteta has been here, some of it has been naive. And so we just have to hope that we play like we did in December for the rest of the season. Because if we don't, it doesn't matter if you have 200 million to spend. But I know we're going to hear something about having to sell to buy, and we're just waiting, and there's a plan, and it'll go all the way to deadline day, and we'll miss out, and it'll be BS all over again. The merry-go-round. I
couldn't agree with you more, and then it goes into the fandom. And it's like, you've got to wait for this and wait for that. You've saved, and I do understand if you'd have got Vlahovic, Aubameyang would have gone. So maybe you can't add all those things together, but you were willing to chuck over 150 million pound into a total investment in Vlahovic, 70 odd million pound in the fee, as it were. You know, you're willing to do that. That's got to be spent on one player. You know, you've got to be looking, and fans have got to hold their clubs to account for this. Liverpool fans have done a fairly good job. Not all fans, some have brushed it under the carpet with FSG, where it's like, okay, well, you were talking about Kai Havertz and Werner, and we know how much they cost, and we missed out, and you said next summer, so we expect that kind of money to be spent. And I just don't think we should be letting our clubs off the hook when they go to another summer where they've had a chance to earn 6 months more money. They've got more money coming in, and I do think where Arsenal have missed out, though, as you've said, is they've made it harder to make top 4, and without top 4, other targets will be more difficult. And it's going to be an intriguing one to see how this kind of, you know, what the ramifications are. And what's your thoughts as well? Because we've had, like, I've seen people tweet saying it's good that a lot of your dead wood's been cleared out. Where's your head in terms of the thinning of your squad?
Well, I think I'm kind of in the camp of, I'm not sure I believe it's as devastating as some of the Arsenal fans have made it out to seem. The main issue was Ainsley Maitland-Niles, because we needed him in January. We needed him to play right back or center midfield or whatever position that he plays in January. But Callum Chambers, Kolasinac in particular, didn't play at all. Like, if you added up all their minutes, they probably were never going to play, and we have other people that can play there. So I get the thinning of the squad thing, and I get that people are upset about it. It's Ainsley Maitland-Niles for me. that is the one that made absolutely no sense because he's the one that we could have used. He's played the most minutes this season, and was the most useful. And he could not be asked to play a couple of cup games for Arsenal Football Club. He could have went to Roma after the Burnley game. If we had had him against Burnley, we probably would have won that game. If we had had him against Liverpool, we maybe would have played better. Tomiyasu wouldn't have got re-injured. Now he's out for longer. So Ainsley Maitland-Niles is the one that I'm mostly upset about. Callum Chambers, he was going for free. He wasn't being used. We were using Cedric instead. And, Kolasinac is a joke, so it is what it is. But I get the thinning of the squad thing. We're out of all the cups because we didn't have Ainsley for the most part and Thomas and Xhaka or whatever. So in the last 17 games, we should be all right. It's more about not having the striker and not having the central midfielder. We have depth in those positions, but it ain't good, so I'm not really concerned about Callum Chambers and Kolasinac leaving. Pablo Mari was a strange one as well, but I don't know if people saw, but apparently we had a deal done for Umtiti. Like what? So Edu.
Umtiti's a centre back, right?
Yeah, but Edu got rid of Pablo Mari early in the window, said bye-bye. And then because he thought Umtiti was in the bag until he twisted his ankle in practice.
Which you shouldn't be surprised of.
Yeah.
Because he's injury prone.
He's always
crazy about it, though. I remember some talks back earlier on this season on Straight Facts where we're talking about, just Arsenal fan base in general being so optimistic that this board has changed. The owners have changed. The way we operate has changed. And look, I didn't expect it to come so quickly. But as we said then, give it some time for them. Like you get those acid test moments. What do you do when there's an opportunity for top four when you've got money to spend? Do you deliver? Can you get it over the line? There's all these little moments, maybe you do make, you said this one of your examples was maybe you do make top four. Do you then go big? I look at Man United. I think if we make top four with this squad, we ain't going big in the summer. There might be one decent mid. We would probably, we will and we won't. We would probably rather, if we make top four, spend £120 million on Declan Rice, but still have holes in the squad, rather than sign 4 or 5 players that actually make the team better, but maybe are not as marquee. Bad owners are bad owners are bad owners. And, 3 or 4 months of your team improving on the pitch is never an indication that your club has turned that corner. In terms of other deals, though, we've got Samuel here with us as well, having his say now. There's not too much else kind of popping right now. All talk is about Aubameyang, as it were. There is speak about this young lad that's just been signed. Is it Ashton Trusty from Colorado Rapids, 23?
He's going back to Colorado, though.
On loan.
Is he good? Is a 23-year-old still in America good?
It's a scheme. He's owned by the Colorado Rapids, which is owned by KSE. So essentially, they just want to move him onto our books, and then they will loan him back to Colorado and then loan him out into Europe. Like, we haven't really signed a player here. The only player that we signed is Matt Turner, backup goalkeeper. That's the only player that we actually signed. Like,
my God.
No, listen, Eddie Gaspar has the answer for his sins in front of God one day. This man, listen, is a disgrace, bro. I said it on Twitter, I'll say it again. His status in a double winning team with O2 and an invincible status has been revoked. Because the levels of ineptitude from this guy has reached Boris Johnson levels. He is so clueless. He has no clue what he's doing. When he came into the club, he was brought in by, I think it was under Raul Sanelli and Unai Emery. He was brought in by someone who's no longer at the club. He was there under the old project, the old regime. And he's come in here to this new process or project. I hate the word process. I mean, it's just a made up crap word. Listen, he hasn't even really sold any one player of note. All he can do is release players. Even Aubameyang, we could have loaned him out. We paid a release. No decent negotiator or a level 1 negotiator would do better than Eddie Gaspar at his role. I'm gonna say he's a specialist in failure in the form of technical directors, Terry. I mean, the levels.
You know what though? Like, that's the thing is, like, out of Edu and Arteta, I think the one that, if you wanted to get rid of one, it has to be Edu. Like, I know people focus on Arteta, but I would, if I had to choose one, I would say Edu needs to go first, because when you're in the middle of whatever you want to call it, a rebuild, you have to have somebody that has experience, connections, a network that you can pull from. And his network is Kia clients, horrible Kia Giraption clients. Everybody that we're linked to is connected to that guy. And he has the worst clients I've ever seen. And that is his sphere of influence. And that's not good. If you had an Overmars or somebody else, you'd probably do better off. I think Per Mertesacker could do a better job than him. So, I get the Arteta thing, but I'm more focused on we can't sell players, we can't negotiate, we can't really maneuver. And that if you want to do anything self-sustaining, the people above the manager needs to know what they're doing. And you also need somebody strong enough to tell Arteta to sit down, stop wasting money, and deal with the players that you got. The reason why he flew to the Cronkies was to go ask for more money. And I hope that they told him no, because he's not using what he has now. He asked them to re-sign Aubameyang, and then he flies to Colorado to go ask for more money to pay for another striker. Use what you got. I hope they don't give him another dime. He needs to use what he's got.
I want to throw this out. Who thinks he was there trying to get more money for a striker, or who thinks he was there trying to secure his own new deal?
New deal, man. New contract.
Deal, I think he was there to ask for more money because it happened right after the Vlahovic. It happened right after happened right after Vlahovic and Artur had kind of fall apart. I would not be surprised if he was like, I'm not playing Aubameyang anymore, so you need to give me enough money to do the release clause for Isak. Because what did we do? We went over to La Liga and started asking 2 different clubs for their best players without money, without the release clause. I think he asked for more money because his contract is, if that's what he went there for and he signed it, wow. It has to be really, he wanted more money. And I hope they said, we got McDonald's. We have food at home. You don't have McDonald's money. That's what they should have told.
How much is the release clause for Isak? It's about 80 million
90 million euros.
Right?
90 euros.
90 million
euros. You want to say that? Do not deal with that.
Even then, with the money that you're planning on spending on Vlahovic, which was around about 70 to 80 million euros, including the agent fees and including all the stuff, all of his wages. Surely you could have got Isak or tried to negotiate with Real Sociedad.
You have to pay, but we did. We went up there with 60 million, but why do they need to negotiate? You've come mid-season and asked them for their best player. You pay the release clause, and when you pay a release clause, you have to play all of it up front. And we were probably going to play Vlahovic over 10 years.
And do you know what's
it's a joke.
Do you know what's crazy about it is, there's still ways around that though. You just borrow the money from a bank. The interest rate on borrowing that money for Isak is lower than the yield you would lose from taking a lump sum out of your bank account. But it's the bit for me is the fan element. Even seeing tweets now. I like Bav. Bav's a nice guy, but he says here Aubameyang terminating his contract will reportedly save Arsenal up to £25 million. Mad respect for that.
No. Let's take Bav. I love you. But you're chatting crap sometimes, bro. He's full of
that's just positive spin for no reason. That's great if you're going out of business and you need to save £25 million. That's great if that £25 million is being reinvested to equal quality.
Well, they're assuming that we're gonna go into the summer and use that money. They're assuming that, but I'm telling you, we will get to the summer and we're gonna run into issues because they don't know what they're doing. I'm telling you, this whole kicking it down the road to the summer, and I saw it maybe two days ago where somebody put out a tweet and it went viral about just imagine the 3 players that we'll be able to bring in because, we didn't rush and do any panic buys and all that. There is something in between your number 1 target and a panic buy. We just chose not to engage in the window because Edu is not good enough. That's just it.
Terry, again, before we can I say about the offer though, right? If Arthur Miller was a Kia Jorbachan client, 100% he would have been an Arsenal player right now. 100%. Because listen, anything that goes between Arsenal and Kia Jorbachan is due to Edu, and Edu is doing a favor for his friend. When we sign a player from Kia Jorbachan, Edu only has his friend's interest at heart, not the club's. And that's why it's unacceptable.
Do you know what's interesting about it though as well? And I understand everyone has the different sources and different things. Quite a few non-Arsenal related sources, though, put down the lack of signings more to players not being sold on the ideas of going there rather than the club not getting deals done. And I mean, look, and this always happens. Man United this window, all the deals that we were linked with early on by credible outlets and journalists, so suddenly we walked away from them all. I don't believe we walked away from them all. I believe some of those players rejected us, which is quite normal. It's going to be a very interesting summer now for Arsenal, depending on where they finish. But listen, I agree with Jess and I agree with Brandon in large parts today. I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to be spun. No matter what happens, and we joked about it on last week's BV show, but it will be spun. There'll be wherever Arsenal finish, even if they finish 8th again or 7th, there will still be a yes, but this happened, and now we've got money, and then we're going to get rid of it. It will just be Jackanory all over again. And if you're an Arsenal fan or a rival that challenges that point or wants to ask questions about it, you're just seen as negative, and your questions are just for clicks. Just asking the questions are for clicks. You don't care about Arsenal. You just want clicks. You just want views. It's a madness to me. David, sorry, you were going to say something, mate.
No, I was going to say, like for me, Arsenal's window is just like, it's so bad because there are so many deals you look like going on with players having expiring contracts and so on, where you just go, that player improves your squad. Like Bruno Guimaraes, when you look at his numbers, that guy is he's a very talented player. That guy dramatically improves their midfield. If you then add in a Dennis Zakaria, and you've got a midfield of Bruno, Dennis Zakaria, and Thomas Partey, that's streets head of Man United's midfield. That's a direct competitor where you go, we have a better area in this bit. Matthias Ginter has got 6 months left for that. Borussia Mönchengladbach, as well as Dennis Zakaria had with his 6 months as well. That's the centre back that improves them. Who else is there? Kulusevski definitely could have improved them in
they could have got
adding
bodies.
They've got 19 people. And 2 of them are goalkeepers.
But Edu doesn't have that. He don't have those connections. Like, you're naming players that he doesn't even probably have a way to even, you know what I mean? Like, you're only as strong as your DOF's experience and his connections and his network. He doesn't know beyond Kia clients. Like, he doesn't understand that. And that's
what
why
about like Ben White, Ramsdale, and these men there?
Arteta pushed for those signings. Everybody knows that we were actually going to go after Barcelona's like number 2 goalkeeper and somebody else, but then Arteta vetoed it because he was like, no, we need to go after these 2 players. I'm like, that's the thing about this window. It's been either your number 1 target or nothing. And Bruno Guimaraes I'm not hearing it. I got a lot of because I love the guy. And I think he's a great player, and he's going to keep Newcastle up. You're going to see that. But I was getting a lot of shit because I said he was one of our targets. Well, he must have not been one of our number 1 targets. I get that. I get he may not be number 1 target, but he was a target. And why not go after him and make sure that you improve the squad so that when you get to the summer, you can actually be an attractive proposition. Even if Ruben Neves is your number 1, Bruno Guimaraes is not that far behind him. So I didn't really understand that. I get we should be really patient because that's what the good clubs do. Good clubs make sure that they meet their targets during the season, and we're not doing that. That's what good clubs do.
Do you know what I would say about that, Jay, as well, though, right? Again, this is sometimes someone's got to try and keep a track of this stuff because it goes on that there, if he couldn't have been one of our main targets. Do you remember when you guys bid first for Emi Buendia and then ended up with Martin Odegaard, but still tried to spin it as Odegaard was number 1, though. No one bids for number 2 before even trying to sign number 1. This is what happens. For me, there was something about this Bruno deal. The fact that he was digging out Arsenal in his welcome video. Some people have said it's because he's hurt that Arsenal didn't get the deal done and he wanted to go there, or Arsenal pulled away from him. That may be the case, but there's something interesting about it. There's something at play here. Maybe Arsenal did do all the talking and then they pulled away as an example, but that's going to look even more stupid if he tears up the Premier League. If he looks the real deal, it's going to look like a madness. And
he is he's going to be good. He is an excellent player. I had people trying to tell me that he was just like Xhaka. He's way better. Stop. You're just trying to make it seem like we have a smart plan. We don't. We weren't prepared to get him in this window. We're stupid. It is what it is. The club don't want to act on midfield as long as Granit Xhaka is there. It's stupid. It is what it is. But it also... Go ahead. No, go ahead.
There's not the way we want to Michael Brand's at Everton all these years, where Michael Brand came in as director, and Everton have never really listened to him all these years, like the Rafa Benitez, though, Michael Brand has never wanted him at Everton as coach. I think he wanted someone else. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Bruno Lage. They spent all this money, but the thing is, the director and the coach have never been on the same page, which has led to Everton spending this ridiculous amount of money on players. And I think today, has that recipe continued? I mean, paying 40 million for Dele Alli in this current climate, I think is just poor business for Everton. It's great business for Tottenham, but poor business for
No, but again, at least the Everton one, you can see what they're trying to do. Like they've had a lot of mid. With Everton, they've had a lot of midfield injuries. It is a free transfer as of right now, and the only way it becomes 40 million is if Dele Alli is actually a useful player. If he's dead, then
he has to play a certain amount of games.
But also this is the same issue. I see this with Edu. Like Edu and Arteta are not on the same page. As like brought up in the summer, Edu wanted Neto, Arteta wanted Ramsdale, and obviously I think it's quite clear to see Arteta has more control over this over Edu. So I mean, it's clearly showing that they're not on the same page. So I think the only best thing we can do moving forward is bring in someone who's on the same page as Mikel Arteta as of right now.
No, they don't need somebody who's on the same page as Mikel Arteta. They need somebody that has more clout than him with the Cronkies. You need a DOF with the CV to tell him you're not getting no more money, so you need to make these players work. Arteta having the ability to go over Edu's head just messes up everything. He shouldn't be able to go to the Cronkies and ask for things that the technical director is working against. Like this whole, they're on the same page. They're not on the same page, and we need a better DOF that can put Arteta in his place because he has too much. He has too much clout with the Cronkies, and he's getting away with murder. You know, he really, he's not getting the most out of the squad that he has, and if he can't coach this squad into the top 6, he's not good enough. I know that the squad is not amazing, but it definitely is not mid-table. It's only mid-table if you coach it that way. So if he doesn't make top 6, he's finished.
I mean, it is a young squad. It is a young squad.
It is, but the whole point of having him is this was the PR. He's young, he's innovative, he works really well with young players, and he can coach somebody up. He was the man that coached Sterling, the man who coached Sane. So I need some of them results. That's the whole point why we have him, is because he's supposed to be an amazing coach, so he should be able to coach this team up. And I just feel like we're letting him off the hook by saying, like, he needs all these players. This squad is of his own making. And so he should be able to get something out of it. Like, I expect 17 games left. Coach us into the top 6. Just do it.
The one thing that you can give Arteta props for is, like, if he does get sacked, he has left the club in a better place than he found it. That's the only... So the next manager has the less effed up job to do when he comes in.
Yeah, you say that, and again, this isn't a dig at Arteta. This is just the club, though. If the next manager they bring in doesn't want to work with as much youth and needs more experience, then you're back to square one of starting the whole project all over again. The only way what Arteta's doing is progression. Is if the next manager that comes in picks up and takes off from where he came in and doesn't need to overhaul. Look at Man United right now. This is how bad. Someone messaged me earlier and said, Terry, you speak nonsense. You're acting like Pep and Klopp don't pick their own players at their clubs. Managers always get to pick their own players. And again, key stage 1 football analysis, basic bitch shit. Pep Guardiola plays the style of football that Man City's philosophy wants. So there's a match. Klopp plays and behaves how FSG want Liverpool to be. So because they're a match, yes, Klopp can pick players. But the way Arsenal, Man United, and other struggling clubs have behaved in the last few years, and I'm going to give a very obvious example, even though it would never happen in reality. If the club wants to play football like Pep, you don't hire Diego Simeone and buy Jurgen Klopp players. When you're a badly run club, if you do that every 2 years, all right, okay, we built a squad for Arteta and how he wanted to build, but we're now going to bring in Graham Potter, but Graham Potter actually wants slightly older, more experienced players that have a different technical profile, and then you start building for that, and then you sack him in 2 years, and then you go for Simeone's free now, but what Simeone wants is players in their late 20s who work hard, that are dogmatic in what they do. You're never going to get anywhere, ever. You might pick up the occasional trophy here and there when you're a big club and you spend hundreds of millions of pounds, but you'll never create long-term success. And until our clubs start behaving this way, I get Arteta's got issues and everything else, but I just think it's so much deeper than that. And I look at Arsenal right now, and they're in such a weird position. And when I see people being fake negative, fake positive towards a team around, it's great, the wages are gone, and Aubameyang going is going to make everybody feel more free. It's all like you're sitting there thinking, why? It's just, it's horrible to see.
But I also want to say that, like, I am upset right now, but nothing is ever as bad as you think, and nothing is ever as good as you think. I still think that we are in a better position, because now we don't have the players that you need to get rid of on those big wages. And so I think that I do think that that's a positive, because no matter how you spin it, Mustafi, Socrates, Kolasinac, those boys are dead. Those boys were dead.
But it's two sides of a coin, Jess, isn't it? It's two sides of a coin, because one side is like, it's good that you got all those players off the wage bill. There's the other side of the coin on the football pitch, where it's like, we know that your squad have disciplinary issues, and some of the players are quite injury prone. If a couple of players get a couple of consecutive yellow cards or some red cards, you're down to your bare bones.
I'm saying in the grand scheme. Like, I'm saying in the grand scheme, like, going back to what you guys were saying about, a new manager and all that kind of stuff. Like, I get that he may, like, whoever comes in, because I still think that there still should be some sort of bare minimum for Arteta. If he doesn't finish in the top 6, he has got to go. And I do think another manager would find this an attractive project if they knew that they were going to get like 100 and something grand, 150 grand, or million, to spend on the team. Like, the good thing is that we've gotten rid of some of the dead wood, but like, in the meantime, I am scared for the season. So I hear what you're saying, Ram. Like, this season is very much in the balance, and it's because, like, it's a young team. There's a lot of pressure on Martinelli and Bukayo Saka. They're going to go through droughts, and Lacazette is always inconsistent. And our season basically is like on the knife edge, based on if, like, Thomas Partey doesn't roll his freaking ankle, Granit Xhaka doesn't do a Granit Xhaka, and Lacazette is consistent. And none of those things have ever happened. So, like, it's weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, our whole season is based on that, and we're banking on it not happen. Like, it's so weird.
I think where the positive is, though, for me, is it leaves no excuses, as you said earlier, for the summer. So it's almost, there can be no bullshit, no wishy-washy PR, no fans making excuses. It's this summer, irrespective of where you finish, you go out and you spend, you buy the players. All this 25 million that's been saved, the Vlahovic money, the Maddison money, that all gets reinvested into your squad. And if things are really improving, as you say, there's no reason to not back Mikel Arteta 110%. If your owners have improved it, you've got to do it. I've got some super chats I've got to do very quickly, and then I want to ask about some of the other signings that have happened today. Terry is a sellout, leaving the Bald Club. Sorry about that. Got to be done. Arsenal signed a centre back from the MLS, but he is staying there. Here's what Jerome says. Arteta went to visit Kroenke, Marty Bird style. I love that show. I always banter Arsenal, but this is actually quite bad. I don't think there is a plan. I want them to remain a rival, but wow, at least try to keep it, is what Laddie says. I think Dele Alli should do what he did at MK Dons, play in central midfield and be more involved in the game. He was quality. Fresh start may help him. This manager should never have had the job. Our sound owners hired a total rookie. KSSE has a lot to answer for, and I hope they. Okay, that's just not. I didn't read that bit until it came out. Cool. I think you meant like you hope it bombs, like it gets back. They bomb, as in they bomb and flop. Do badly. I think that's what he meant. Glad that Arsenal were able to get Aubameyang off the wage bill, but why does he keep falling out with players? Some questions about some other signings. Dele Alli to Everton. Good, bad, indifferent, gents. What we saying? And of course, yes.
Indifferent. I'm not really bothered. I've had this thing with Ali that he just lack of motivation. Maybe you go to Everton and be like revitalize his career, but I'm not really that bothered. Like it's I feel as though it's hard. He's at that age where he's sort of stagnated his career and he's like a bit wishy-washy as well. I'm like, I think you're done at the top level. I really do.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's good personally. I kind of like it, to be honest. I think it's good for Dele Alli because he just has to get out of Tottenham because it's just not going to work there. The best thing I can see for Dele Alli is that he becomes like Mason Mount with Frank Lampard. Like, just whatever happens, get Dele Alli in the team, keep playing him, no matter what he does, just keep playing, and he'll come good. Like, I do like Everton, like with Donny and Ali, and then you can have like a Decore or an Allen thrown in there as well. I quite like that like midfield like balance because you've got someone who's very attacking, someone who can make those late runs into the box but can also hold possession, and you've got someone who defensively is quite astute in what they do. And especially like the way Lampard plays for like what I think Lampard will try and do with Everton, I think it is going to be a good signing.
Yeah, I mean, the 40 million fee does stand out, but I think, like Ram said, Dele Alli does need a fresh start and get away from Tottenham to really kickstart his career again. I think under Lampard at Everton, I think that is the right place for him to go. We will have to wait and see what Lampard does with him. But obviously, Lampard had put the input in that if he's going to get a job, Dele Alli was the main target, and where he's got him, and let's hope he can re-kick his career again. He's still quite young. I think he's 25 years old, around there.
Yeah, he is still young. I mean, in terms of the other player that's gone there in Donny, I mean, what are you all expecting to see from him? Is this going to be the moment where Man United realize they've made a huge mistake, or do you think there's going to end up being maybe a little bit of vindication in terms of? I mean, Dele Alli's gone there now, and everyone's telling me they don't play the same position. They're not going to get in each other's way. Others think actually they could. Like, what were we saying about Donny going to Everton?
We're going to get to see them. We're going to see him play for the first time. Like, we don't actually know what he looks like in the Premier League, really. So we get to see if he has this muscle mass issue that Man United have been saying that he has no muscle mass. He can't run around the pitch. Or, we'll see a player that's really talented, that has some value, and maybe Manchester United will feel like they've made a mistake. I don't know. But in terms of them playing together, why can't they play Decore and then Dele Alli and Donny van der Beek just in midfield with him? One thing that Everton are really starved of is creativity to feed Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The man is starving. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't withered away from malnourishment. I mean, he gets no service whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So, his best football was played when James Rodriguez was there. And I don't think Dele Alli and Donny van der Beek are those types of players, but they do have some creativity. They have the ability to get into the box, to support a striker. And so I would just play both of them. I would play both of them, one on each side of Decore.
The main problem I have is the balance that you find between both of them. Like, the best moments of Donny van der Beek was at Ajax, where he made those late runs, playing just behind Dusan Tadic, and Ali. His best moments were behind Harry Kane. So I feel as though I'm with the latter side of things, where I'm like, they're kind of similar. The best of both of them play similar roles, and I'm like, how can you find that balance in that midfield?
You could play Donny as an 8. And you could play like a 4-3-1-2, something like that with Dele Alli right, but behind Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Donny van der Beek in the midfield with Davies and Decore.
But this is really, really big because this is a World Cup year. He's really out of the Netherlands squad picture right now, so this is what he really needs to do because he has to hit the ground running. Because as of currently, of Louis van Gaal's plans for the World Cup squad, he's not in them, so he has to hit the ground running. He's desperately.
I need to see this non-muscle mass. I need to see this guy, because I just think that is that was so funny. He's been doing extra leg presses.
But then again,
I agree.
Did players like that? Sorry. Did players like David Silva have muscle mass? Like, don't need to have a lot
again. But I think this is why I'm intrigued to see it, because it's a case of I don't think it's about how you actually. I think they're big. If he has got a problem with the physicality, sometimes in life, it isn't actually how strong you are and how much muscle you've got. It's about how much you're prepared to use. So you can be a big I know a plenty big geezer, 6'3" in the gym, loads of muscle. If it gets a little bit airy, they're not tough. They don't throw their weight around. You must all have a friend who's big, who's a softie at heart. And it could just be that he don't like getting stuck in, to use an English phrase. I'm like Jess, though. I want to see him play, and I'm desperate for him to, because I want to see whether Ollie and Ralph were right not to play him. And the only way, the one thing when you have a player that barely plays and then he leaves the country, you never get the true answers. We'll get to see him now at Everton. He'll get game time. He'll get a lot more space as well than at Man United, because teams are not going to sit back as deep. They're not going to play against as many low blocks. So he's going to have more time and more space. Let's see what he can do. If after a month he's sitting on the bench and not coming off on the Lampard, we know there's a player issue. If he tears up the Premier League, then we have to look at both Ralph and more so Ollie, because maybe Ralph didn't pick him for other reasons. But we have to look at them and say, you were absolutely wrong. You get him back into the team next year. It's win-win for me. We either realize he isn't good enough, or he is. He comes back and we play him next year and he feels like a new signing. So I think it's good, but I'm skeptical with Dele Alli. I agree with you, Ram. I feel like people like they both play eights. Yeah, but I don't think eight's either of their best positions. Both of them play better in and around the edge of that box. That's where, for me, they're at their absolute best. But equally, I'm quite excited to see if he can step up to the challenge. Maybe he's got a bit of Martial's problem where he doesn't really like competing for it. He likes to be the main guy and not have someone up behind him. But it's intriguing to see how that's going to...
I do think Everton was a better place for him to go than Crystal Palace, though.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. I
think people who think he should have gone Palace, like, you're not thinking right, because Conor Gallagher exists, Elise exists, Eze exists. Like, those guys will just play more than he will, because they just have like money in the bank basically at Crystal Palace. And get Everton, he comes in and he is one of the better creators in the squad. But if he ends up behind Andre Gomez and Tom Davies, I never want to hear about him again. Like,
he has to go back to the Eredivisie. Like, he has to go to Feyenoord or something. Like, literally. Like, there's just no way. Because if he can't beat them out for a midfield position, he's finished. Because they're terrible.
As the question is, but what January signing will have the biggest impact? Like, will change the club position, you know? We'll bag in someone like a Luis Suarez this window. Does anyone see anyone?
Well, what do you guys think, because I personally think, like, Burnley made a striker signing that could really help keep them up.
Yeah.
Because, what do you think is better, like Chris Wood or Workhorse? Cornet and Workhorse?
He's a
Or
giant.
Alan Maximum and Chris Wood? Who's going to stay up?
Jess, when
You know?
Chris Wood went to Newcastle, I was like, you know what, Burnley are gone. Big Boot. He's massive. That guy is more Chris Wood than Chris Wood. It's crazy. When you literally over.
I almost feel like I prefer and like I'm glad KJ. I'm glad
Him and
KJ's
Pierre
not here because I actually think I'd prefer Newcastle to go down now because of Bruno Guimaraes and how he came after us a little bit. So Burnley, it is.
They're proper English heritage, man. You gotta keep them.
At Wolfsburg, I don't think he went more than 5 games without scoring. Like, and that's only been recently because Wolfsburg are like 3 points above the relegation zone, so they're like really struggling.
And
he's a good player.
The whole high line thing don't work with him because he's a truck. He cannot run.
I think as well though, like with someone like him, sometimes players like him just do well in the Premier League, as you say, because of the way Burnley play, the size of him, and everything else. The intro video, by the way, one of the best we've seen. The whole Jurassic Park.
I'm so glad we played them before. I'm so glad we played them when they didn't have Cornet or Workhorse right before, because we would have lost that game. Like,
whipping them balls in that way. Just to let you know, there is an update in relation to Carvalho. It looks like it's going to be. I would say it's to Liverpool fans. It does look like it's going to be done. But they're basically saying that the player wants to leave. This is from Kevin Palmer that says Fulham have given final demands to Liverpool for Fabio Carvalho. The player wants to move and the feeling the deal can be done, but clearly time is running. Time ain't running out, though, because you're going to loan him back. You just go back and get him in the summer. Like, it's
Terry, I think the problem is with the fee. And for me, in my personal view, the ball is in our court. Like, if we don't get him in the summer, we can get him on a tribunal. And I think Fulham, that's the last thing Fulham want, because it'll be another Harvey Elliott situation where they're going to lose out on a little bit of money. So I think we'll get it done. I think we'll get it done this summer. And obviously, relationships have been a lot better since we gave them Harry Wilson. And obviously, Harry Wilson is doing very well with them. So I think it'll be done. But the situation stays the same. He's going back to Fulham. So Yeah.
There's one player.
Go on.
There's one player that I was surprised didn't go anywhere. This one was Ben Brenton Diaz, because I thought a team in the
Sorry. Who? Sorry, say that again. Who?
Ben Brenton Diaz.
Ben Brereton Diaz.
Yeah.
Sorry again. One at a time. Who does he play for?
Blackburn.
Oh, yeah, I don't watch that shit. So I know he took.
He's got like 20 goals in the championship.
Shit, we could have used him.
Oh.
No,
Why
you
did we
should have
call
got
him up?
Mitrovic.
You should have go.
I
I'm surprised you didn't get Veghorst, didn't it? Veghorst would have been good.
That's that's what I'm saying. It's like either nothing or number one target. There were options. You could have brought in Workhorse and still brought in a big striker in the summer. What are you thinking? Like we weren't thinking.
If you want a facilitator, go Hoffenheim. Call up Kramrich. He's banging
Nah,
about
we saw Kramrich at Leicester, man. They didn't.
Yeah, but he's far older now. Like he's a better player than he was back then. Like he's better than Lacazette. I'm sorry. Like 90% of strikers in Europe are better.
I'm better than Lacazette. Keep it real. At least I can get into the box.
He's got 3 goals in the Prem, and at least they can contribute more than Eddie. He's useless.
Eddie, oh my gosh! Like this is what we're dealing with.
Is he staying now, Eddie? He's staying, right?
I remember years ago, I swear you got an offer from like Leeds to sign him for 20 mil or something.
Yeah,
something.
Well, we've had so many opportunities to sell Lacazette and Ketia. Like there's been opportunities, but they keep getting like it's like Arteta just comes around with his save-a-ho cape and is coming around and saving these dudes, and I'm just like, these dudes are dead. Like save the good players. Like why are you saving?
When I read this morning that Eddie Nketiah was staying, and again, you always read again. 3 hours ago we went live. Aubameyang wasn't leaving, and then an hour later he was. I read that Eddie Nketiah wasn't leaving. As soon as I read that, my gut was they're signing no one because they'll just spin it as Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette are enough. The Maddison is as well, right? You guys rave about, and I'm not having a pop it because I don't see enough Balogun. It's like this is the perfect opportunity to like let him get game time with you.
He's loaned out.
Great. But you've loaned him out. It's mad. It's absolutely
but he wasn't ready.
Yeah, I seen him in the cups. I saw him in the cup games up and close.
He wasn't ready.
Jess,
wasn't fully cooked yet.
Would you still take Brozier?
No, Brozier is mine. Brozier is mine.
You guys are still talking about that boy that's at Southampton.
Yeah, that's
he's a baller.
Okay, I may have Lacazette, but I don't want Brozier. I don't like
Brozier. What's wrong with it?
No, come on, man. I'll take Brozier.
No, because I just keep. No, I'm sorry, but yeah, I've said my piece. You guys, I need to go and eat something. I've spoken about this for too long. This was enough fun. This was great. Thanks, guys.
No worries. See you later. See you later. Yeah, look. I kind of get. I get what the Brozier's an interesting one because I think people have got to slow down a little bit, and the reason that I say that is I'm. There's certain. Listen, I was kind of wrong about Mason Mount. I didn't think he would be as good as he is now, but I was right about Tammy. And when Tammy was like the season before Tammy came back to Chelsea, the way Brozier's been speaking about, that's what they were saying about Tammy. Now, I know one's in the Prem and one was in the Championship, but it's still a case of slow down. The one thing about young players, sometimes a young player can burst onto the scene. There's 2 things I would say. Joe Willock on loan last season at Newcastle is a prime example. If Willock did that, if Willock went on loan and hadn't kicked the ball for Arsenal, football would have gone, oh my God, what a player Arsenal have got. But he had a purple patch playing for a club where he had more space than ever before, where nobody was playing low block, where he had the freedom to run into the box. The irony is this season, people are a little bit more aware of him. They know what he does. They know when he's going to make his breaking runs into the box. They've marked him, ain't scored a goal. You know, you had Jesse Lingard, who, again, with more time, more space, more freedom around him, was able to deliver. I think the likes of Gallagher and Broden going back into the Chelsea squad present you with some really good talent. But there is the way people are speaking about them both as if they are going to, they're going to be like, they're going to kill it. It's like, slow down. Because just slow down, stop putting that pressure on them. Let them cook. Do you get me? Let them breathe a little bit. Let them marinate a little bit. It's crazy the level of pressure I'm already seeing put on these kids. It's crazy.
Nah, but seeing as though Arsenal's like a mid-table team, it'll be a good signing for them. You know what I mean? Like, Terry.
Bro is too good.
Guys, it's officially announced now. Everton have officially announced it that Donny van der Beek is a is one of their players. Donny van der Beek is an Everton player. It's on their Twitter page. It's official. They're also doing a winner Donny competition. He's put out a message to say hello to the fans. He says he can't wait to see you in the stadium. I bet he just can't wait to play. I bet he just can't wait. That's about an hour ago now. Sorry, they announced that because obviously at the beginning of the show there was all talk about. No, it wasn't him. It was Newcastle that were going to hijack a deal. We already knew it was going to be Everton. Sorry, I'm being an idiot. But yes, it's been officially announced in the last hour that is out, and that is. Someone says they announced it ages ago. Yes, sorry, my apologies. An hour ago, but I've only just seen it myself. I was waiting for that one to come out. But yeah, that's going to be a good deal. How are you feeling, David, about Luis Diaz to Liverpool? Do you think that's we had like Egal and a few others earlier say that could be a signing that pushes that makes Liverpool win the league? Do you think it's that good a deal?
I've never watched him play, and I don't think anyone's watched him play. So, like, be honest with yourselves, because you're going to get caught in Lukaku's situation if you're not careful. From what I've heard of him, though, like people who watch like Portuguese football say he's very talented. So I will give them that. So yeah, like he's better than Minamino. Like he's far better than Minamino. Has to be. Yeah. So like they're improving their options. They now have, as Egal said earlier, they have 5 options in 3 positions, which is like it's an upgrade. Whether it wins them the league, I'm not sure. Not sure about that. I just think Man City are just too good as of right now. But you know, it's like again, it puts them in a strong bargaining position with when Mane and Salah want to do stronger positions when they want to do contract renewal. So I see it as quite a good signing overall.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, it's a good signing. There's no. I think it could have that impact of pushing you further forward. I think it could have that impact of pushing closer. If Liverpool are within 6 points of City when they play them and beat them, Liverpool win the league. So the title race is still open. They've got to keep themselves within 6 points between now and when they play them. And if they do that and win that game, they will beat Man City to the title. But it's beating City ain't the hard bit. That can happen on one.
Keeping up.
It's keeping that 6 point gap, which basically means Liverpool have to win every game between now and then. There is no room to slip up for Liverpool in that period. So that's why I think this deal can help. That's why I think it can help.
That period that City have where they've got Tottenham, Everton, and United is going to be important for us in terms of whether they drop points, because we all know Tottenham style of football, they don't like playing against it. United always cause them problems no matter what, even if they're in the greatest run of form. You saw in 2017-18 Pogba doing a madness up in the Etihad. 18-19, whatever. So that period of games is going to be important to see whether we can actually catch up with them. Because like I said, I'm with Terry. If we are like 3 or 6 points behind City going to the Etihad, and we end up winning, it's going to be a huge chance for us winning, and especially keeping up the pressure.
I mean, I placed Liverpool to win the Champions League over the Premier League this season. I think for Man City, they're just far too good. I mean, like you said, like when it's on, they will just win non-stop. When they have to win, they win the games. When it comes to the Champions League, Liverpool are just a different animal. They're a beast. So I mean, the Luis Diaz signing, I believe it's a good signing. You can finally rotate that front three. You have someone for this season to come off the bench. Maybe next season he'll be integrated into the team more. But that's what Jurgen Klopp does. He doesn't put these players in straight away. The same as he did with Fabinho, where it took him a couple of months to come in. So.
It's going to definitely be an intriguing one. I want to say a big thank you to Bet Victor, of course, for sponsoring this show again for us today. I might come back a little bit later. I think most of the deals are done now. There's nothing really cooking. So rather than not waste people's time, but we'll come back at the end of the window or first thing in the morning to have a bit of a roundup. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody at Bet Victor for sponsoring the show. You can sign up to your free account now. If you bet £5, you will win a free £5 bet on top. But we were going to end this. We were talking about this earlier. Man United to win a trophy this year at 5-1. I am going to stick a cheeky little bet on United doing that. Only a small one. Only a small one now. Putting a little £2.50 on Man United to win a trophy. That's locked in. All the odds are in our description below, people. But until tomorrow, take care of yourselves. I'm back with Lee Gunner with straight facts. We'll probably do a bit of a transfer review. There'll be other news that'll be cooking as well. But until next time, my people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll